Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. It's Monday already. Holy mackerel, the time just flies by when you're having fun. It's 1 p.m. Monday. We do this every week. Welcome everybody to the live stream. Trucking, is it better then, as in back then, or is it better now? Let's discuss some of the ways it might be better then or now. You decide. Did you know Omnitracs, they shut down over the weekend. Basically, they had an outage. Let's put it like that. And a lot of people had problems. This 18 to 21-year-old pilot program is going to be a problem. I've got some rates from the DAT. There's a trucker stuck for days. There's some IHOPs coming. There's a lot of things to talk about. So there we go with that. Let me do some clickies here. Don't forget it's Roller Wiener Monday, like it is every Monday. Here on the show, we also, of course, want to possibly get another. Don't forget to wash down that roller wiener. You're going to need original RW, cheese RW, or Boost RW soda. From Joe's, it's new. It's a carbonated meat drink, and believe me, there's one for every occasion. You will never miss out as long as you drink at Joe's. All right. So they are coming on board as a sponsor there. So today, Misty was first. Misty on my sheet here on the list here was first. Thank you very much for stopping in. And you are first today. Congratulations. David is here. Thank you for being here. Mark is come in today. Michael Muller. Thank you for being here. Al Johns, hello. It is good to see you. Red Monkey Trucking is here. I hope your wife gets better soon. GT40, hello there. Iran is here. Dashcam Sam made it in today. Hello there. We'll put it that way. You got a summons for jury duty. Yeah, I want to talk about jury duty. I served at jury duty, so, and I said duty, which I think is hilarious. Dashcam Sam. I think it's funny. The Kerminator is here. All right. So where am I going? I'm just, believe me, for new people, I'm not very good at this. So, there's a lot of pauses where I lose my place and everything. So please hang in there. The rooster is here. Where is it snowing? What is going on with that? James Faust, thank you for being here today. It's good to see you. What the heck? I'm just baffled by the snow. Musafara, thank you for being here. I appreciate you for saying that. Of course, a good roller wiener with some RW soda goes good with every type of meat product you can have. Cassius King Trucking is here at Living the Pete Lifestyle. Hello. GP Transco. Hello. What's going on today over there? Did you make it through that snow last week? Boy, that was worse up there for you, wasn't it? Trucker Hershey, hello. Thank you for being here today. The Mark of Excellence, hello there. Steel Horse, it is always time for a roller wiener. Ernesto, hello there. Chris, 76, it's a mix. It's some worse. James, what is up with the auto cares having 7 random used cars and then 1 pristine vintage rare classic? Yeah, I don't know about that, how they figure all that out. I will say somebody that does know that leads into this, right, is Jay at Auto Transport Intel. He's live at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays right here on YouTube. That'd be a question for him. I do see that. There'll be like 1 great car and like 7 bombed out cars. I don't know how they do that. Jay could tell you more about that stuff. That's for sure. Ryan, hello there. Thank you for being here. Peterborough 379. It's good to see you back. Trucking was better back then because there was not as much regulation. Well, that's interesting. The regulations, right, and more freedom. And the trucks looked cooler. Well, I guess that would be personal, right? Was there more or less regulation? You know, the regulations haven't changed really that much over time. They're just changing now. But, you know, in the 50s and in the 70s, it was the same logbook. So that's interesting. Jason, what's up? How's it going? What's happening over there? James from Eastern Iowa, 1 hour workout. Stop pushing new people to go OTR, have them go LTL. You know, I'm not pushing anybody to go anywhere. People can go wherever they want. And I've always said you don't have to sleep in a truck. If you don't want to go on the road, you do not have to sleep in the truck. I think if you're 21 and have nothing else going on, it's great to live in the truck for years with only a cell phone bill. You do better than most people if you have the wherewithal to put the money away or whatever. But I totally agree with you. People can be home or go over the road. It's whatever you want in trucking, you know. There's a new video showing how to pass a GOT drug test. Yikes. Who's doing that, David? It's snowing in Wisconsin. Really? It's like 53 degrees here. The barbecue trucker, hello. Just been keeping you busy with the new roller wieners. Yeah, and with the sodas, people will be buying more of those roller wieners, right? There's nothing better than a salty meat drink to help you wash down your roller wiener, I'll tell you. People have been asking for it. Do you think trucking is better now? Yeah, I think trucking is certainly better now. Absolutely. D-Boy611, good morning. What's happening out there today? Jeffrey Herring, good afternoon to you. People from all over the world coming in today. International, we've gone international here. Trucking Answers, Nomad Trucker, equipment is better, the market is worst. Okay, well, that's interesting. Michael Muller, Peter. So I work for Smith because you could drive your, yeah, you do get nice trucks over at Smith, certainly. David, thank you very much for that. I'm being attacked by a cat. David, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Who's over here anyway? Nomad, the morning mark, going to talk about the 7-truck rollover. Where's the 7-truck rollover going on? Okay, it's a jury summons in California, not from the state, but from the federal. Oh, hope the feds excuse you. The state would probably hose you. You know, I went to a state one. My company pays you, though, for going to them. So you go to jury duty, you get paid. And it was a total waste of time. We actually thought that the prosecutor wasted her time on it. We immediately were all for the defendant. So, but I did go to it because they pay me for it. I've always thought, though, that he could get out of it by telling them, if you don't want to do it, that you are just only going to vote for the defendant. That's the way I would see it, and say, look, because I really think I don't agree with the jury duty. They waste your time. They force you to come in. You're the one in prison. So tell them, look, if you're going to imprison me here, I'm not going to vote for you. And if the judge says, is that all you believe? Absolutely. I mean, you can't lie to them. But if that's what you believe, they're not going to want you on the jury. That might be one thing to do if they actually call you in there. George Costanza's here. The reason pay is stagnant because of inflation. Oh, the government prints money, which causes inflation. It's a tax on savings. You want more wages, shrink the government. That's a good way to do it, right? And also, people accept lower pay, which doesn't help the pay go up. Plus, this 18 to 21-year-old deal, it's a lot of mega carriers. There's a couple of good ones in it, but a lot of mega carriers, really. Scott, what's going on? Hello. Nomad Truckers trying to get loaded. Yikes. Please explain the roller wiener inside joke, David. There's no inside joke on roller wieners. I mean, what is more delicious than a wonderful roller wiener? Today is, of course, Roller Wiener Monday, as it is every Monday. But then, you know, Joe's Roller Wiener Museum, Emporium, and Interpretive Center has come out with a drink because people get thirsty, you know, eating their roller wieners. And so sometimes you need a drink to go with it. So they have, of course, original RW. They have RW soda with cheese, right? That's and there's going to be a commercial for this coming up soon. So be sure to watch for it. Joe's sending a commercial over. And also, some nights you need to stay up. There's Boost RW. It's a carbonated meat drink, and there's one for every occasion. There's nothing inside about it, really. So, okay, so rates. Somebody talked about rates, so let me see rates here. I found the rates on the DAT board. All right, right now, van, $1.80, flats, $2.18, reefer, $2.11. And they said there's plenty of loads on the board for everybody. So, there's your rates for you for the week from DAT on the boards. Not bad. You can make money $2.11, I think. Whatever. Good. Kenworth Rider, a low 1 hour workout. Line haul at LTL maxes out at 70 cents, and most people start at 59. Yeah, that's correct. Right. UPS is advertising $30 an hour around here. So, Michael, I'm a permanent resident, so you get out of jury duty easily. Oh, they do not allow. They don't allow permanent residents, really. Yeah, it was rough. I read Monkey Trucking, missed a lot of sleep, and decided to do a live with a buddy and went, well, I saw that 3 hours, but I should have used my time to catch up on rest. I saw that you had put it out there, as what I'm saying. Awesome. Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it. Nomad saw GP Transco Truck in Colorado. Aren't they all over the place? And if you go to their Instagram page, they are constantly putting pictures of their trucks in very scenic locations, which I very much like seeing. So, and of course, we have Bridget that says hello here today for Steel Horse. And yes, who do we else do we have here? Oh, of course, Gracie needs to get in on the program. And she is in on everything, always watching the program. And she was just over here trying to scratch me. I don't know what's going on today. Normally, she sleeps through the show. So, Nomad, got to have a lot of solar panels. Great show. I hope all is well. Backwards, yeah, going great here as usual. Does anyone have an update on trucker asking Trump to suspend the e-log? Yeah, there's a petition, which I put a video or I talked about it, or I don't know what I did, right? There's a petition for that. at whitehouse.gov to immediately suspend the ELD mandate. So you can go sign that if you want. It won't do you any good, but you can't sign it. It wasn't deregulation. It was the fact that people demand the government to give them free jobs but not raise taxes. The only way to do this is to print the money. That is a problem. That's correct. Diane is home in Ontario, Canada for a change. Oh, really? What's going on up there? What's the temperature up there today? 18-year-olds driving trucks. We need a meteorology update. Is the sky falling? Well, look, I'm not as opposed to it as some people. The only problem is they're only allowing certain companies. Companies have to sign up right now to get the military members into this, and you have to sign up with the government, and there's no vetting of the companies. Let's put it that way. So the way I would keep the bad companies out is to only allow companies that have a really low turnover. Because otherwise, the military, the veterans that are going to go into this, they're just going to be spit out just like these mega carriers do to everybody else. So to be in the program, I'd say you have to have a turnover rate of under 40%. And that would keep out all these mega carriers that are trying to get their claws into 18 to 21-year-olds and pay them probably hardly anything. So you're trying to get solar panels on the top of your truck to keep the batteries charged since you don't have an APU. Oh, I wonder what Smith, would they allow you to install that? Gotta have, where did I go? Right. Okay, gotta have a lot of them. Oh, well, some. Can be a great show. Let's see, does anyone have an update on truckers? Right. So the petition. Okay. I'm way off here. I'm all lost my spot. The petition, if you sign it and there's 100,000 signatures, okay, the White House has to respond to it. That's the deal. Any petition that gets 100,000 signatures. Because there was one petition, I remember, to build the Death Star from Star Wars. And it got 100,000 signatures, and they had somebody out there responding to it. So they said they wouldn't do it because they estimated the cost to be in the several $100 trillion range, and the technology wasn't really there yet. Either way, look, so it gets 100,000, the White House will respond. All they have to say is we can't do it, or we're not doing it. Because you get the 100,000 threshold doesn't mean the law changes. So that's the thing about this petition. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything about the law. That's the problem. Red Monkey would love to do a commercial. Did you see the Halloween special? There was a wiener tail involved. I'll have to watch that. How about, I didn't get to that yet. How about the FedEx bribery scam? Did you hear about it? I did. And I noted all the names were from the same type of Eastern European country. This is some kind of country, not that the country's doing it, but people from the same country came and did this FedEx thing. I don't think as big of a deal as, it could be. I did read about it. Chrome Daddy, what's happening today? Trump has bigger problems right now. 7 truck roll over on 40 and on Tennessee and the bridge. I didn't hear any. How did I miss that? I mean, I looked through the news, especially on Monday mornings. I go through all the news, and I didn't see anything about it, so I missed out on it. Barbecue Trucker, you have a doctor's appointment. Listen to when you get back. Have a safe roller wiener Monday. Thanks for being here, and get back to getting Joe supplied. I mean, with the drinks coming now, it's going to be really something. I know probably asked, does GP Transco hire in Georgia? I think so, yeah. I don't care what they will answer that here. I'm sure they don't care about what the E-log mandate. You'd rather have your per diem company back. I thought that was going to come back for company drivers. They talked about it, and now they seem to be sidetracked with other things. You saw GP Transco trailer in 81, but wasn't a tractor. They have owner-operators, so all their trucks don't look, they're not all that teal-colored truck like this here. Let's see where it is, right there. They don't all look like this. They have some white trucks too, I've seen. There's some owners there, so it could have been maybe GP. I'm not sure. That's their information if you want it. So winter season is your lookout for England and Swift. There's a couple of experienced drivers there at Swift, so don't forget we have Pam Wilson over at Sierra England helping us out over there. Smith has a terminal in Georgia. Okay, that's good. I didn't change my clock back, and you're having trouble keeping up. Wow, Bill, right. I should have put that out there. It was pretty big out there. If you didn't change your clock back, I guess you're not watching me yet, so you will in an hour. We'll maybe say it at 2 o'clock. GP Transco, our new fuel incentive for company drivers, pays a bonus to the top 50% when it comes to their miles per gallon. So a driver needs to do better than half the drivers. Does it sound fair? Well, we'll see what people think, and then I'll see if what I think. I thought that you should talk to the Smart Trucking Show about the Roller Wiener Monday. They had no idea about it. Really? Smart Trucking didn't know about that? You would think they'd be all over it, really. Having a cell phone precludes you from using the radio anymore. Are Radio Rambo still a thing? Well, you can have a cell phone through your CB radio. So, yes, there's still a thing out there, absolutely. The anonymity of the radio, just like on here and everywhere else, it'll never go away. In the comments, really. The anonymity of that, where people don't have to provide any kind of identification, brings out, it doesn't bring out the worst in people, it brings more out in the people of what they really are. Because it doesn't change who you are. You're still whoever you are. It just shows who you are when you're anonymous. Because they say, what you do when no one's watching, that's who you really are. So the people like that, that's who they really are, and it's unfortunate. George Costanza, thank you very much. Omnitracs went down nationwide, right. At Werner, you work on Dollar General. I do a 34-hour, didn't affect you. All right, that's awesome, and it is time for a Blue Parrot break, right. It is off. You wear it, make it a parrot, as we say here. Thank you to Wild Bill for that. Yes, of course, when the thing goes down like this, you can always just run a paper log. The FMCSA, which I put a link in the description to that for everybody. So if you had problems with the Omnitracs, large companies, Knight put it out there, a lot of companies, you can run a paper log. And you go, well, I can't get my last 8 days. The FMCSA, which you'll see in the link, it allows you to recreate your last 8 days on a paper log to the best of your ability. So as best as you can recreate your last days, and then you just continue to run a paper log as your electronic log is having a malfunction. So you can still work, and you're required to have a paper log with you anyway, so you should just grab that out of wherever you have it. They say E-log causes more wrecks. Wrecks are up with the E-logs. I thought that was interesting. It's a lot of people speeding and following too close. It's partly because of the E-log, of course. You should never drive unsafely, right? We can all agree to that, no matter if you have an electronic log or not. So Caleb is late. Some demerits are headed out there. Red Wine 5, thank you for being here. Hello. Were paper logs really better? I don't think so. I like the E-log better. E-log causes dumb people to be dumber. That's good. Paper was bad. Nomad Trucker, I agree. Georgia's one of 2 states that you do not hire from. Why Georgia? It's simply hard to get people home there. Oh, too bad. I'm going to have to move up here to, if you move to Illinois, you could be all set. Paper logs were great. Never ran out of hours. As long as you had 99 cents, right? I remember them in the TA, right? 99 cents. Personally say all the tech on trucks is making drivers less safe. All right, so now we know also 46 states. I'll put that on there. I'll put that in my head. All the tech on trucks is making drivers less safe and the drivers less cautious of their surroundings since they rely on it. That's the problem, right? I'm on the side of better now. So, and part of it is the technology. But it's if you rely on it to drive for you or if you use it as an assistant. I like the tech as an assistant. Like it tells me the car in front of me what speed it's going, and the radar can see through the fog and stuff like that better than you can. That's wonderful. But when it interacts for you, it puts the brakes on for you or whatever, that I don't like. If it was an assistant, yes. Cell phones, I mean, one of the things, I wrote a ton of things down. What is better? Cell phones. I mean, we have cell phones now. How great is that? It's not the tech. I chalk it up to the training. No, they actually said this about cars too. That the more technology cars get, the people get in more and more of these slow speed accidents because they're relying on all the technology rather than actually only using it to assist them. Wild Bill asks who I drive for. Oh, that's an interesting question. That for new people, right, I get that question. Sometimes I don't ever say who I work for because, well, it keeps them out of my videos. So many people, and I had a driver right a couple weeks ago, as I keep mentioning this to people, got fired for putting out videos. So don't want to do that. And look, it just keeps them out of the video. I can just say what I want that way. You never know when you're talking about your company. And I don't recruit for them. Almost every driver who has any kind of larger YouTube channel is recruiting for their company. Hey, come here and get hired. Why? Because they pay you money. So I don't do any of that. Keeps them out of everything. Truck and Pop Up told me about the Monday live stream. Really? Well, Smart Trucking's welcome to come here. I'm a subscriber to their channel, and I'd love to see them over here. So that'd be awesome. All the newbies get trained by rookies that don't know truck. Well, that is the problem. It's a crapshoot when you go to training. You never know who you're going to get. You can get somebody with 30 years experience or apparently 3 months experience. Jim Trucker, right? That just got in there. I started ag exempt cattle haulers. That was they are the crazy ones. At least there's not that many of them, right? Amy, right, AMYE, I love it. I'm about to go to OTR with my husband. All right, and you've been watching the channel. It's informative. Well, thank you very much. You can always write if you have any questions. I missed paper, never got a ticket on paper, and I could take my time and be safe driving. Well, you don't get a ticket because you can have it, put it out wherever you want. Have you ever gotten a ticket on an e-log? Jim Trucker likes the paper logs. I'm just not a fan of it. I always had like 6 books of loose leaf. There's the problem. You don't want to work that much because you don't want to be doing that much free work. Charles, Swift experience here. Been driving since feet could touch pedals. 32 years. Grew up on a farm. There you go. That's pretty good. We work with owner-operators. They're an 80%, no trailer fees. Right. And so sometimes I'll see a GP Transco trailer and I'm like, who is that? It turns out it's an owner-operator pulling the GP Transco. And I've never seen like some crappy owner-operator truck. Like some companies don't care. So I will say all the owner-operator trucks still look like they are in good condition too. B. Hobbs, what is going on? And GP Transco, I'll say no. I'm going to say no to it. Just personally, I don't like it because I don't know that it's fair. I don't like when a bonus, here's what I'm saying, because you asked. I don't like a bonus that I don't get control over. Meaning, if I'm a company driver, I'm dispatched by you or who I work for, and that's great, right, as a company driver. But because of that, I can't control a lot of factors that contribute to fuel mileage, like rolling resistance. I'd choose different tires than we use here just at this company for if I was getting a fuel bonus, but I can't. So I can't choose my loads. Maybe I get heavy loads, that kind of thing. I can't choose that kind of thing. The weather may affect me in ways I can't control the weather. I don't like a bonus that I don't get to control. I love bonuses where I'm in control of the bonus, but I'm getting a bonus for things I can't control. So personally, no. My answer is no to it. Oscar, what is going on? Good afternoon. Let me ask you, what do I think about the new studies that show indeed the ELD are contributing to driver fatigue? Yeah, well, absolutely. But is it contributing to driver fatigue, and why are drivers driving beyond their hours on an ELD? That's the question. What changed? Because the ELD didn't change the log. So what changed in driver's day if the ELD doesn't change the laws? That's the question. We had a truck at Smith rear-ended another truck. Yikes. The truck in front, the radar malfunctioned and locked up the brakes. That's true. That can happen. Of course, you should be following at a distance, right? The police would say, and everybody, where you can safely stop if the vehicle in front of you comes to a complete stop. So I'd probably say, depending on the circumstances, that driver was following too closely. Al John says the tech does help me, but before I get some experience, it was a big crutch. It helped, but I learned more when the GPS didn't work or your phone had no service. That's correct. In typing class, remember typing? Oh, Mark, how old are you, Mark? Were you born 300 years ago? Look, the first year of typing was on a manual typewriter. And why, they said? So you could strengthen your fingers and learn how to use a manual typewriter. The second year went to an IBM Selectric, right? Geez, Mark, you're old. But the first year, it took 2 years of typing, was a manual typewriter for the exact same reason. I think people should learn to drive a car in a manual shifted car. The government needs to stop the time change. It's the stupidest thing. Going back on our clocks, complete stupidity. James Faust is back in the truck hauling grain for a local farmer. That's in Tipton. That's awesome. Wow, that's something different. Huh? What do you think about that? I think that's great. Hart delivers roller wieners for the Roller Wiener Emporium. Oh, and right, and Interpretive Center. Just got done washing your truck. Gonna listen on the drive home and chime in at stop signs. All right, thanks, K-Dub. I appreciate you being saying that. Columbia Gorge. Sorry I'm late. The line at the roller wiener machines was long. That's the problem. If you get the VIP pass, you can skip the lines. That's why I asked Smith to keep me in anything made before 2019. Sounds like this 2020s. No, my 18 does that. Cascadia, right, on bridge things and all. I hate it. Look, I think it's the stupidest thing. I think it's unsafe. I think Freightliner needs to get it figured out, why it does that. Look, our car has it, and it doesn't do that. So this is, and all our trucks do the same thing. If it warns you and slams the brakes on. I don't like it. Nomad likes your fuel bonus. Less fuel I use, the more money you keep. Look, I like a bonus. I'm not against the bonus. I don't like bonuses on things that I can't control. And there's too many factors that contribute to fuel mileage or lack of it that I don't get to control. So could be that week I just get a bunch of heavy loads just because it's randomly heavy loads. And that may put me underneath the 50% of the drivers there. And so I lose a bonus because of something I didn't have any control over. That's why I don't like a fuel bonus. I don't like really a fuel bonus at all because I can't control all the factors. We didn't get the trick since the other truck malfunctioned. Do you feel company controlling what is preventable or non-preventable is a good or bad thing? A company controlling what is preventable. I mean, who determines what is preventable or what is non-preventable? What are we saying about that? I don't understand. I don't understand where we're going with that, really. One of the other things I thought was the large sleepers. Okay, another reason I think trucking is better today: large sleepers. The sleepers from back then. Let's check out one of the trucks that I have here for today. Was okay. Well, I'll show the truck I learned how to drive in. Right, this is the truck that I learned at truck school. People always ask, this is what we had at my truck school for a road truck. This is a white Road Commander. This is a 1980 model, and that is a white Road Commander. White is a truck name brand of a trucking company that makes trucks. Right, white. So for people that don't know, and that's where I learned to drive on the road. Right there, and that was at our truck school. That is a white. They took the sleeper out. It has a sleeper just like this. I'm pointing at it, but you can't see me pointing at it. I don't know why I'm doing that. And it had seats in the back. So 3 more people would go with and watch while the one person drove and the instructor was sitting on the passenger side. And for those of you that don't know, there's a huge hump in the middle. And the passenger side had a lever for the trailer brake. So because we never went on the road without a trailer. And so he could yank that lever and stop the truck if he had to because there was no getting over to the driver's side. That is a white Road Commander, and that's what I learned to drive a truck on. And so look at how tiny the sleeper is, okay, compared to with what we have today. It makes a big difference on the road. Certainly. I mean, holy moly. Fatty 2x4s here. Hello, what's going on? It's time for Crap Company of the Week. Yes, it just about is, right. Better safe than sorry. You've seen trucks freeze up at a yield sign because of that front radar. That's the problem, right? The thing hits the brakes. It shouldn't do that. A warning is one thing. Hitting the brakes is another thing. K-Dub, you're glad you don't do fuel bonus. 4.9 wouldn't make it. Let's ask GP Transco. Would 4.9 miles per gallon put you in the top 50% of fuel mileage? And if not, what is the top 50% of fuel mileage at GP Transco anyway? Where do you need to be to get the bonus? Now I'm curious. Kenneth, parking lot or cleaner, restroom cleaner. Thanks to people out here listening to this broadcast. Thanks, Mark. Thank you very much. Now with your help to create more of a distance, 100 feet, but 300 is best. Look, stay back. That's just the policy. If the people in front of you stop, you are required by law to be able to come to a complete stop without hitting them. If you hit them, it doesn't matter why they stop, okay? If you can't stop, you're too close. How about that? Those trucks look like deformed dinosaurs. Hey, that was a big deal. That truck was only like, less than 10 years old when I went to truck school. So there were tons of them on the road. The older drivers on here saw them. James Faust said coffin sleeper. Right, but that was a sleeper, right? You got out, you rolled out of the truck like you were doing a stop, drop, and roll out of your driver's seat. I would always leave my shoes down by the pedals and hop up on that thing and roll into the sleeper. That's how it worked. Small bunks are the best. Anything bigger than 42 is overkill. 42 inches. Well, KW, it depends how long you're gone, I guess, right? I mean, I had some smaller sleeper trucks on the road, and it's a pain getting your stuff and, would have to just sit on the bed. It is nice to have a bigger truck. Michael Muller saw a Marmon for sale in Ohio. That's something. GP Transco says they're all dry van. Owners, leasers, companies, everybody. Same for everybody. That's good. A Cascadia looks like a truck with ED. Yikes. The hump in the middle of a cab over was called a doghouse. Right, doghouse. You had to get over the doghouse, correct? Fatty 2x4 just up here waiting on a load to get ready in St. Joseph, Missouri. Where does that load go today? Where's that headed out to? Hauling glass with class. Oh, nice. That could be sticking good on the side of the truck, right? Are you, is your destination Excellence, maybe? Am I at the right place? Kenneth, Mark, driving the mountains in northern Georgia. Sorry you're late. Oh, Gracie. We got to get her back for that. Where did she go off to here? Right. Oh, she is going to consider that. Thanks you very much. Right. And then Bridget is disappointed that we didn't talk to her either. Goodness. They're always there. Gracie is sleeping over here, not too far from me, surprisingly. Normally she's on the couch. What do you think about this driver, too? I wanted to bring this up. Look, I saw this crazy. This guy was in Wyoming following his GPS. Here we go with technology, since you're bringing it up. Goes down some mountain road, gets stuck. Duh. Waits 3 days to call the police. He didn't call the police for 3 days, was in the news. 3 days later, he calls the police. They had to take a 4-wheel drive. They had a Tahoe that they got up there to him and took him down into the town to get him some food or whatever, and then he went to a motel, and they're going to get his truck out of there. What the heck are we doing? If you have a cell phone signal, why are you not getting yourself out of there? Well, Bill, on Wednesday you have business that will take you directly past GP Transco. All right, you can just stop in and snap a picture. All right. Yeah, why don't you go in and say hello to everybody? Has 3 stops, 1 in Indianola, Mississippi, and 2 in Houston. All right, that's not bad. I'll take a GMC Cracker Box, an old style Detroit, and a Super 10. Yikes. That's when it was a big deal. Boy, that Cracker Box, that is a smaller sleeper than this thing. Than the holy mackerel. Favorite mountain pass. Look, I love going down Donner. I really do. I love all those signs. Hey, let them roll. Let it roll. Don't hit your brakes. I really like mountain, headed out there in Donner. The rolling hills and stuff and seeing it, it's pretty good. Coming down because you come out of the snow up there in Reno, and by the time you get down to the bottom, it's 70 degrees, and Schwarzenegger's there to greet you. I just love it. Still waiting to get pictures of the Kenworth and the Cascadia. You'll buy the rolling wieners. Oh, right. Okay. Anytime. Right. GP, it'll be around 2 p.m., depending on if you set your clock back. You still say ELDs are the devil, but they didn't change the law. That's the problem. So why, Oscar, why are they bad if the law didn't change? Let's ask, that's always the question. If the law didn't change, why is the ELD bad? That's the real thing. You call it a 3-day vacation. Nice. I have an Evolution Cascadia, and sometimes it hits the brakes while the truck is on speed control and scared you. Yeah, exactly, Gonzalez, exactly. That stupid radar. I have a new Cascadia, but it has the same radar system on it, and it's horrible. One of the best things about it for this, our truck's better then than now, the lights, right? The LED headlights, you can actually see what you're doing. So part of it is the headlights, I think. Okay, so there, the ATRI, the American Truck Research Institute, says detention time is up. And they had an interesting thing. That detention of over 6 hours is up by 27%. Are people waiting 6 hours to get loaded somewhere? Who waits for 6 hours to get a load? I don't understand it. Speaking of that area, you spent 3 days up that way. All right, that's pretty awesome. I just wonder who is sitting. Let's see what else. What other truck do I have over here too? Oh, okay. Here remembers this. This is good. This is one of them that I picked up this week. All right. There's trucking for you right there. Right? The memories coming back to anybody for this? Sweet. That's a good one. I grabbed a few of those pictures there. Right, where to go here? I lose my spot a lot for new people. Would it be frowned upon to stop with this in with a load of pigs at GP Transco? Yikes. Yikes. Of course, you're not going to get a fuel mileage bonus hauling those things around. I bet the DOT were salivating when the Omnitracs went down. Well, here's the thing, right? There's no problem. The FMCSA allows you to merely recreate your logs and continue with paper logs. Does it take a little bit of time? It does. And you're supposed to notify your company in writing within 24 hours. I don't know what they mean by in writing. If the system itself doesn't work, I guess a text would satisfy as in writing notification. But you have to notify your company, who already knew about it. A lot of large companies went down. Knight was one of the biggest ones. They were in the news talking about it. Schneider went down. So a lot of them went down. But you can just recreate your last 8 days of your log, which the FMCSA allows, and continue on with the paper log. So no problem. GP Transco, some of the staff is going to come out to take a look. Now, they are not allowed as pets there, as I know. You wait 24 hours of loading, you get $200 for detention, Gonzalo. That's good. But are you really waiting 6 hours? Are people, it's up 27%. Are they right about this? Are people waiting 6 hours at places to get loaded? The fact that a computer is telling you when to drive and when to sleep, Also, you're getting tracked like some criminal by the government. That's true. That's your opinion. You're ELD exempt and love it, but feel for many. I agree with you. It does track you, but didn't the log also tracked you? I mean, the electronic log didn't change the fact of the laws. We still had to write all of our minutes down and everything like that. So the law didn't change anything. JJ Godfrey, in truck stops in Mississippi, I said what to eat. 2 drivers at the same time said it's Roller Wiener Monday. I met all the way to Mississippi. That's pretty good. You don't realize that really is something. It really is incredible to me that anybody would even have that on their mind. James Ross remembers the double clubs. Isn't that something? You don't see those anymore either. You could sit more than 6 hours hauling reefer into Walmart. Well, are people sitting 6 hours? They say it's up 27%. That detention time is up, including these really long sit times, dwell time as they call it. I mean, that's super long amount of time. Michael Muller, ELD is bad when you have to pull over and wait 30 minutes to 1 hour to park. That's true. Because you're 5 minutes short of getting the next truck stop, and especially with all the rest of yours closing. It does make that more difficult. The law didn't change, though, right? From paper, it just makes it more difficult because it holds you to the law, really. So what we're saying, really, is the ELD holds you to the law, but the problem still isn't the law, right? The problem is there's no parking because you know that going up ahead there's no parking. That is the problem. Gonzalo said at a meat plant you'll have to wait too, but are you really waiting 6 hours? Definitely more money in local line haul nowadays. Yeah, but it depends what you want to do. Money can't be your driving force really in everything, or you'll never be any good at it if it's just the money, because there'll never be enough money. But if you did something that you loved, the money would just come. That's what I think. The Bullholland Bulldog says e-logs are crap. Then is the log also crap? I mean, are the rules crap or the e-logs crap? Because the rules don't change. So what are we really mad at about it? How come there's more money in local work? There's really always been more money in local work. People just always thought you made more money on the road. But local jobs always paid equal to or more than road jobs. You're home. You don't have expenses. The really thing is the expenses. It costs you a fortune to eat on the road, and really your time away from home should be compensated, and it really isn't. So if you think about it, when you're just home every day, you really end up making more money. Fuel bonus is tricky to implement. Our thinking, since our drivers can control the same things and equally can't control other factors, it's an even playing field since loads are given at random. That's true, partly. Therefore, if everyone has the same amount of potential control and the same amount of lack of control, earning more money for being the top 50% could work. It could, but I could randomly get a lot of heavy loads. I could. It just depends on how the load situation works, where I am. I end up here, and so this is a bastion of where heavy loads are, and then where I go, it can randomly work out. I just don't like it. If I can't control it, I shouldn't get paid for it. I want to get paid for things that I get to, a bonus where I can control. That's what a bonus is. You did good because of the things you did, and so you get paid extra for it. So that's why I don't like a fuel bonus. I can control. Like, say I have a truck problem on the road, and my fuel mileage goes down because of that, and it takes me time to get in a shop, or for whatever reason I can't get in there. I'm in more snowy weather, which reduces my fuel mileage because of the friction on the road surface. So there's a lot of controls at it, so I just don't like it. I personally, since you asked first, so for me, it's a no. I would have no control over not getting it, but lots of guys still run twin sticks pulling bull racks. Do they really? Oscar Truemark, with paper, you can just throw wieners to England drivers and get away with the ELD. They'll track you. That is true. There wasn't the tracking that they have now. That's certainly true. They know where you are, but you were supposed to write down exactly where you were anyway, right? And I'm sure everybody did. I would always get out, and I would get a sextant out so I could put my exact earthbound coordinates down on the logbook. Well, Bill, if you were asked to operate a duplex transmission today, I would ask to see a calendar first to see what year it really is. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen one in a long time in a truck like that. Do people running e-logs make real money? Yes. They can't make real money. Again, but money can't be, if your goal's only money, you'll never have enough. But yeah, I mean, get a dedicated route that where you don't have to wait and you can make money running an electronic log at a company that figures loads out that work with an electronic log. Absolutely. Fatty 2x4 says absolutely. A whole reefer and a lot of meat producers have ridiculous time. 6 hours a mile. That's crazy. I mean, so they're right, I guess, that it's up 27%. That is crazy that people have to sit that kind of time. And there's part of the reason that a local driver makes more money. All that time would be paid, but an LTL driver is not going to sit 6 hours somewhere, certainly. Luke having a terrible day today. I'm sorry about that. What is happening over there? Can't lift research. It's the hours of service, not the law. Going back to what we had would solve the parking problem. I don't know, because there's so many more trucks on the road. You'd still have a parking problem. It would help, but there's still going to be a parking problem. When this new thing comes about, it's going to lighten the burden on parking a little bit. I do think that since the 30-minute break changes, you can do it on duty, so people won't be stopping for the 30 minutes as much. I remember being trained on a 9800i back in the mid-2000s. If I recall, only cab over that was tall enough to not have a doghouse. There were some flat floor cab overs that were kind of like a conventional inside. So you didn't sit down in a little hole there and have to climb out of it like you're getting out of the space shuttle. Absolutely. What do you mean no parking? What about all that extra room created when Kmart and Gander Mountains closed? I'll say this. There's generally trucks in the Kmart parking lot here nearly every night. So absolutely, there's a closed down Kmart, and there's usually a few trucks parked in it at night. So there's Kmart parking. We don't have a Gander Mountain here, so I don't know what about that. Kenworth Rider, I'm blast, right? All those big companies don't care about how long you sit and that you have to take a break for 10 hours, ridiculous hours. Yeah, the big companies don't care how long you sit, and that's the problem. The real problem is that they let you sit there without, they let you just sit there and they don't pay you, and that's why they don't care. If they cared about it, they'd pay you. But since they're making money on it and you'll do it for free, I mean, part of it is that we have to do this stuff for free. Don't do it for free. Don't sit around for free anymore. Tell them I'm not doing it. You got to pay me or I'm quitting. I mean, that's the only solution. That's really the only solution. The government can't make them pay you other than maybe minimum wage if we get that changed. But so it's going to be $7 an hour. That's not a big deal. Lucas says nothing is going as planned from traffic to how long it's taken shippers to get me loaded. Then here's the problem, right? Or unloaded. And now I don't have enough hours to make it back to your depot. See, so that's a problem. Since it sounds, depots is an interesting word. Are they going to come and get you? Are you at a place where they might come and get you? A fuel bonus, wow, Bill, a fuel bonus is only fair if all trucks are equal. Engine size, aerodynamics. Yeah, look, I'm just not a fan of a bonus that I can't control. That's just my thing on it. Even if the trucks are the same, the loads aren't all the same. Maybe if it was all the same loads or something. There's just too many factors that are out of my control. Oscar, let me say this. Over the road, you really see money if you're an owner-operator like myself, but then again, it comes with expenses. And honestly, for a regular company driver, over the road is slavery. It can be at the wrong company. And owner-operators, can they make money? Absolutely. You can make good money at it. Oscar's doing very good at it, so you certainly can. But it's a lot of expenses, and there's a lot of risk in it that a company driver doesn't have on the road. And starting out, certainly if you had, say, 30 days experience, I don't know if buying your own truck is the best way to go. That 30-minute break being on duty is dumb. You're going to continue taking your 30-minute breaks off duty and eating lunch. And everyone else in America gets a lunch break, but you're going to take time. But you're going to take mine. Look, I agree. You're not. I thought it was stupid, but it would help with the parking. You'll be able to take your 30-minute break on duty. So any 30-minute on duty time where it's 30 minutes all at once, not split up, will count as a break, even though you might be working. So now you can work and have a break at the same time. I guess the government figures you can multitask your breaks. Most Kmarts get blocked off for a while because you got people leaving trash in the parking lots, and most Gander Mountains are reopened as Gander Outdoors. Well, the Kmart here, because it's in a strip mall, they can't block the parking lot off. It's the end of a mall. So people have to get in the mall. There's restaurants and other stuff there, but at the end of it is this old Kmart. So there's no problem parking at this one because it's not blocked off. Company sells you on the fuel bonus. When you start at Prime, your bonus went into effect at 625. Now it's 8.5. Really? I'm still trying to find out what it is at, what is the bonus point at GP Transco at the moment. James Faust picked up many hot loads and got the receiver to sit for 3 hours. Yeah. Oh, get it there immediately. Get it there. They should pay you based on when they tell you to get there. A lot of parking problems at new truck stops are owned with only 40 spots. Well, at least there's some going up. The Pilot, the TA, and Petro are going to add 100 IHOPs to theirs. That won't help parking, but at least you can get a pancake. Twig Zahan. Hours of service are not the problem. Logs are not the problem. Blaming them is the problem. Put the blame where it belongs. Shippers and receivers in the company. The main problem is the company, right? They're the one you work for. If they want to let you sit there, that's their problem, but they should certainly have to pay you the full amount of money that you get when you're driving. That's what they should do, and you wouldn't sit anymore. But people sit there for free. You can't do it. You have to quit. I always recommend at least a dedicated route where there's no sitting around. The sitting is what is the huge problem if you're not getting paid for it. Michael Muller, at Smith, the company trucks are governed to 65 on the throttle and cruise. But if you meet it, they turn it up to 68. But as soon as you go below it, you go back to 65. That must be annoying going back and forth to get that turned up and down. Dashcam Sam, you migrated to ELD last week. Welcome. We're going to put a wall around the ELD. So far, I no longer agonize over cutting every minute out whenever I possibly can. You haven't really had to yet. Yeah. Look, you should not have to do that. You shouldn't have to, wiggle minutes here and there. You should get paid properly, and we're not. $100,000 for an over-the-road driver is not really unreasonable, considering the amount of time that people are gone from their house. To become an owner-operator, you'd say 2 years as a regular driver to know the business and learn why people fail, because the excitement of being your own boss, and so soon it's a lot of work. Would you recommend this? Maybe people sign up a little bit in advance to maybe a load board or however they're going to do it, and run their truck as if they're an owner-operator, keeping track of everything, and then I think they can get a better idea. I think that's not a bad idea. Run your truck as if you're an owner-operator. What would the fuel have cost you? What would you have made on this load? How much would you have netted at the end of the week? Then you can actually see what you're doing. Andrew, no previous issue with your employer. You refused the 3 a.m. load, and they want me to turn in your keys. Wow, yeah, it's legal, absolutely. Right, they can fire you basically for any reason as long as it's not the wrong reason. Like you're a woman, you're fired. You're a certain religion, you're fired. You're a certain race, you're fired. Anything like that. But otherwise, as long as it's not a protected thing, if you refuse a load, they can fire you. Yep, they sure can. Absolutely. I'd go try to get unemployment. I don't know what would happen. Depends on the state. Some states are more friendly to employees, and some states are more friendly to the company. But I'll say this, although I'm sure it's annoying for you. Any company that would do that, it's probably better you quit there anyhow. That's pretty garbagey. Josh, if it's the Kmart that I think over by you, my parents worked there for 23 years ago. Really? There's only one in Lafayette here. So, yeah, it's been closed for years. What's Biltmore IHOP going to do? Just going to have more people parking in the gas line going to go get some pancakes? Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they'll do a phone kind of thing, which I've seen at some truck stops, a phone at the fuel island where you can place your order, and then by the time you're done fueling, your order's ready and you can go get it to go. I think that would be a really good idea. The Bull Holland Bulldog I drove as a door swinger for years and switched to cattle. Always felt like I was making good money at 60 a year and now 90 a year, pulling cattle, working half the hours in a company truck. Hey, whatever works for you, right? Cattle, I don't think that'd be my kind of thing, but absolutely. The system doesn't work if the drivers can't be abused. It would be a big change in the system if everybody got paid properly. How many companies would go out of business if they had to pay people properly? Like 75% of them? How are some people ELD exempted for life? Who's ELD exempted for life other than a truck that can't put an ELD in it? No single person is ELD exempted for life, but you can have a glider or an older truck. That's ELD exempt, and as long as you keep that thing on the road and it's legal, you would theoretically be exempted for life. How's that CR England end user investigation going for them? They still haven't written to me. I'm so disappointed in Pam Wilson. I wrote to her, and this has been I didn't do the video for 2 weeks after I wrote to her to give her a chance to talk to me. Nothing. So I don't know how the end users are doing over there. Presumably doing great, as we know from her mouth that their turnover is down 50%. The trucks only used to do that when they were set with fuel economy, but now they're all set at 65 and 68 on cruise. Oh, okay. GP Transco, can you do another giveaway? We're thinking of a Blue Parrot B450XT, of course. Giveaways are always great on the show, GP Transco, and thank you for that. Yeah, get with me on that, and we'll get that going, certainly. Can you get a case of soda with the headset? I will say with a six-pack of Joe's RW soda, which is coming out soon here, if you get a six-pack, you get a free Pepto-Bismol. So that's what Joe has said about that. That's super nice of him to include that because he said you're going to need it. Back in the day, Mark, glad you enjoyed the 3-bunk video and explanation. Yeah, that is pretty interesting, really. Back in the day, I could eat a 3-course meal while driving. Sure, because you had the doghouse to sit it on, too. We had a huge table there. The Sierra England video was hilarious. Oh, thank you very much. And that was all they're doing. So fast food places have smartphone apps you can use to order at the fuel pump. All right. I've seen phones where you could say, hey, call in and get the Petro or whatever, the iron skillet. Is using CBD gummies to help me sleep legal? No. Okay, right. And I wrote this down on my yellow sheet. So this driver, where did I put it here? Okay. So this driver took these CBD gummies, okay, to help him sleep. And he took a drug test. Guess what? Failed. Guess what? Fired. There's a lawsuit in Illinois against this company whose name I don't have in my head here, who's selling these CBD gummies as no THC, but there is THC in them. And so there's a class action against them and all that. Look, this CBD stuff, I'm telling you, do not take it. You can be fired when you fail a drug test. Your company will fire you instantly, basically, with no recourse. You'll be dispatched without recourse, post haste. So do not take any of these CBD things until all this is worked out with the government. This driver got fired. I did read about it, and just don't take them. It's not worth the problem of all this. Ag exemption, paper logs only in your driver 2000 Mac. Well, okay, you have an ag exemption. There are small sections of trucking, that's true, that get exempted from the ELD mandate. I agree with you, right? I should be about that, but true. If there's one thing you can count on from GP Transco, they'll avoid how they operate. Oh, I don't know about that. GP Transfer, you can do one on today's show. Let's do it. All right, we can do one on today's show because in the description are the rules. Okay, so thanks. I agree with everything you said. Very helpful. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. The Pepto-Bismol will help make things colorful after hurling. Well, look, Joe's Cheese RW soda, I have been told, is going to be quite delicious. It will be on the show soon. New owner operators fail because they spend all their money. Well, they don't realize, a lot of owner operators don't realize that you have to save for taxes and pay taxes and stuff. That net is not really net. So, Ed Smith, we get written up if they find NyQuil in the truck. Really? What do they write you up for that? Is that that would have to be up front where they say you can't have an over-the-counter medication, in the truck. I don't know how they do that. How would they write that up exactly? Gracie is not even impressed with that kind of. What's the write-up for NyQuil? I'm curious about that. What are you supposed to do with your? What are you supposed to do with your money? Whose money am I doing something with? I don't know how you get written up for NyQuil. I'm still thinking about that. CBD gummies, right? It failed the drug test. I did write that down. Now, this pilot program for 18 to 21 currently is only for military veterans. I don't know who's a veteran at 18 years old. Maybe I don't know why you get out and you're a veteran, but it said 18 to 21. And it's a problem because the companies that are Werner's on there, who else is on it? Prime is on there. All these, it's the usual suspects. There's a couple of good companies, but there's only certain companies on the list that are going to be allowed to do this. And there's like no vetting of the company. Another reason trucking is better now than it was then. All right, interstate system. What about the interstate system? Michael says NyQuil makes you drowsy. Anything that makes you drowsy. Yeah, it does. That's the whole idea of it. So they say anything that makes you drowsy you get written up for. That's pretty interesting. They're not illegal. Put White Castles in the truck stops that will force drivers to take breaks. I never understood why there weren't more White Castles in truck stops. NyQuil has alcohol in it. I don't think NyQuil has any alcohol in it. Maybe. I don't know the formula for it. If it has alcohol, there's probably one that's alcohol-free. So if it was alcohol-free NyQuil, would that be allowed? They don't necessarily fail because they don't know how to run efficiently. Cost per mile, right. And plain and simple, they run cheap. Look at people that buy a truck. They'll go lease a truck or just buy a truck, and they think, look, oh, I'm an owner-operator. It's a business. You're running a business. You have to be all about running a business. You're a business person, an entrepreneur, right? So you can't just say, I'm buying a truck. It's a business. Learn how to run a business, and then you could be like Oscar here and be successful at it. James Faust loves White Castles. Look, people don't know this. When my wife and I got married, we went from the courthouse to White Castle for the reception of just a few of us because that's how we did it. But we went to White Castle. I still have that tape on videotape, so can't play it anywhere, of course. But I have that. We went to White Castle. That White Castle here in Lafayette is now closed. But that's where we went, and we love White Castles. So I'm a huge fan of White Castles. They're not quite as good as RWs, but they're pretty good. NyQuil liquid has alcohol. The pills don't. So could you take the pills? When you were on, you gross $210 a year, and after deducting expenses, you owed $2,000 in taxes. That's still not bad, right? At the end, if you made $210 and you own $2,000, not bad, right? NyQuil has alcohol in it. When I interviewed at Werner, they said something similar. Really? They would have to tell you that up front. I mean, I don't think you'd get. I don't even think if you took NyQuil and had to go take an alcohol test, I don't think that would be a problem. Most owner operators can drive a truck but not run a business. Since failure, it's a business. People don't realize it's a business. You're running this hundreds of thousands of dollars operation, maybe $300,000 operation. Okay, you can't just walk into that and think everything is going to work out fine. You got to be able to run a business. Unpopular opinion, because it adds for complexity. You're already in a complex situation. When it comes to hours of service, there should be two systems: one followed by company and lease, and basically company drivers, and presumably the other one by owner operators. I don't think so. It's still a person, and the idea is the safety and time off, rest time of a person. I see Loves doing their part. New ones are going up all over the place. There's Loves going up everywhere. They are building new Loves. They're doing it fast they can, but it's a problem. There's a couple of parking spots open in Chicagoland too. Parking for me. Oh, I should have wrote that down. For truck parking where you could pay in advance. There's one in Gary and one outside of O'Hare, but I couldn't find the price, so that's why I didn't write it down. Dayquil is alcohol free, so you can get through the day. Right. They shouldn't say anything about Dayquil. And then another for actual owner operators that have their own authority. Okay, Twig, why would owner operators get a different hours of service rule than company drivers? While Bill says talking to dispatch can make you drowsy. Yes. What about that? Have to listen to a dispatcher. Or what about the music on hold? Put a Chick-fil-A in the truck stop and you'd never get anything done, except on Sunday you'd get stuff done. Michael, when you worked 1099, you owed a bunch in taxes in 2000. Well, yes. People that are on 1099, you should still pay quarterly taxes and everything because you're being hosed by your company. I hope you got out of part of that at least. White Castles and Waffle House should be at truck stops. I don't know why there aren't more White Castles and truck stops. It seems like a perfect place to have them. And then I don't know if there's any. If you go up to an owner operator and ask them what is their cost per mile, 70% will look weird and ask you what you're talking about. Yeah, they don't have any idea. And these are people not making money, or certainly not making anywhere near the money that they could be making. Absolutely. Dayquil is fine at Smith. I think it's in the handbook somewhere, and they tell us in orientation. Oh, thank you. So they get to write down exactly what, here's the things you can take, and here's, the things you can't take. I don't know about that. Corey, hello, your friendly tow truck driver from San Antonio, the city I can never forget. Thanks for being here. The current system tries to put everyone in the same category, even though there's a big difference. Well, there isn't, though. You're saying an operational difference, but really they're trying to get everybody rest. So that's my thing of it. Why would an owner-operator have to have more rest than a company driver? I failed the drug test from eating poppy seed muffins. They did that on Mythbusters. Tried to appeal but firing, but they wouldn't believe me. Yeah, absolutely. Please don't put yourself at risk in any way. I agree. And they did that on Mythbusters, and if you ate enough poppy seeds, then they did test. Everybody knows what Mythbusters, right? They did fail the drug test, so from poppy seeds. I do avoid them during the week. I like poppy seed bagels, but I don't eat them during the week. Why do you eat them on the weekend? Because I don't answer the phone for them on the weekend, so... Wait time up 26% because it's being reported correctly because of ELD enforcement. Oh, that's an interesting way to put it too. But they're saying the longer wait times have increased even more. But yeah, maybe so, right? Oh, that's very good, Mark. Why didn't you think of that? Yeah, that's good. I think you're onto something. These longer wait times where people would just log sleeper, they probably still log sleeper birth time though. Maybe they're just counting it that way. Yeah, that's probably right. You pay the local Peterbilt dealer $100 a month for parking. Wow. I guess if you don't have anywhere to park and there's no place to park the truck with you, yeah, I guess that'd be one thing to do. Warren Buffett recently invested a few $100 million in Loves. Oh, really? That's owned by Warren Buffett? He owns Geico, my insurance company. James Faust will be back. White Castle's available in our vending machines at work. I'm always kind of iffy about getting one that isn't fresh. And I guess fresh is kind of an operative word at White Castle, certainly. I'm finishing paying my taxes for those amounts we owed from 15, and that year only grossed $58,000. That's no good, right? At least they worked something out with you. If you have your own authority, can you pick your driving hours more effectively? Therefore, you know you can do and not do. If you ever, you could. Well, I don't know about that. Why would someone with their own authority be better at picking their driving hours than an experienced company driver? I don't believe that at all. I hate White Castle. What? I used to work for a truck company out of Tennessee. A driver got in it. Where did I go off to? Right. I'll click something and then it moves. Okay. See, recurring issue with some owner-operators having no money set aside. The first truck breakdown is immediately a crisis. Then their owner-operators eventually switch to company. Yeah. They don't think, oh, I'm going to buy a truck, right? And the truck's going to run forever. No, you got to have... repairs are super expensive unless you have a new truck, right, with a warranty. So, and you still got to pay yourself while you're out. That's why for me, right, the risk is not worth it. I like not having to worry about it. Like I'm in a loaner truck right now at work. My truck broke down the other day, Thursday, broke down, and that was it. All the lights came on. It shut itself down. It would only go 45 miles an hour, and that was it. And so they couldn't figure it out, and I'm in a loaner truck. But because I'm a company driver, I'm in a loaner truck. And no cost to me. Still continued on my way, and an owner-operator wouldn't have it that easy. So that's the problem. GP Transco, I've seen you guys in Wyoming and Colorado. They do go out west a lot. Black cats need feeding. Oh, okay. Why do only the cats need fed just immediately like that? Not at all. Many indeed don't save money but don't really know what they're doing. That's true. I'm a company driver. Based on my opinion, if you could pick where you're working, we'll know when you can and cannot drive. Why couldn't a company driver, Twig, know when they can and cannot drive as well? Because you're an owner-operator doesn't mean that you're an experienced driver or anything like that. Worked for a company that had a driver who got a DUI after an accident while taking NyQuil. Really? How much NyQuil would you have to take? Plus, really, why are you driving after you take NyQuil? If your Pete has problems, I don't have to drive anywhere and get it fixed. All I do is unhook and they take care of it. Oh, you're at the dealer. That's true. Get a breakdown after a 24 hours or a rental contract. Yes, because you're at the dealer. Same thing, company driver. That's a good thing about being a company driver, right? No worry about another truck. They just put me in another truck. They go, well, this truck's not being used. Go take that truck and we'll figure this truck out. So, and they're still figuring it out as of today. I haven't heard from them today. So, White Castle's nasty like Steak and Shake. That isn't right to say. Car to recover a truck. Okay, what FMC's proposal about short haul fleets? Well, no, short haul fleets said because of the new proposal, a lot of them are not going to run ELDs anymore. Probably because they want to hose their drivers. So drivers will get a 150-mile air mile radius on short haul, and they'll be able to run a 14-hour day just like everybody else. And presumably, without an ELD, they'll stretch that out to 15, 16 hours a day and not pay people for it. That's what I assume. Todd received a warning ticket for improper registration in a company truck 9 months ago. disqualified you from your application because of a CSA violation. Yeah. Look, I don't like that. Warning, you shouldn't get any points for a warning. You didn't do anything wrong. Crystal is greater than White Castle. They're kind of the same, right? It's just a spicy White Castle. You had something happen like that. They called it a one box, controlled all the DPF filters. The part cost $8,000. The bill came to $16,000. Holy mackerel. Yeah, the DPF light was flashing. The check engine light and just the yellow engine light came on. The automatic cruise control light came on. The hill start assist light came on. And then it said DPF problem. We're going to limit you to 55. And then a couple of minutes later, because I was getting ready to get to the shop, we're going to limit you to 45. I thought, crap, if I go any slower than this, they're going to have to tow me in. But I made it over there at 45 miles an hour, last 3 miles or so. And they go, holy crap, right, you got problems. So they put me in another truck, but as an owner-operator, I would have been sitting there. They'd have had to take the load off me, or I'd get a motel, and that would cost me who knows how many thousands of dollars out of my maintenance account or on a credit card. That's not something that that's not something I personally want to deal with. Maybe people can do it. Oscar's in for it. I'm just not in for it. For me, it was just easy. It was a 52-minute program. I was in another truck and rolling again. 52 minutes. And you get paid for that time here. So there's no reason to drive and taking NyQuil. Yeah, why are we driving on this NyQuil? I mean, I don't know about a DUI for it, but if you take anything that makes you tired, I mean, no way. I know company drivers that are better than owner-operators at time management. How many owner-operators see parked in non-parking spaces because of poor time management? Yeah, because you're an owner-operator doesn't mean you should get a different hours of service rule. No way. Can you dispute your CSA company violation on company fault? Yes. Steel Horse is like the expert on disputing CSA violations. There is a way to do it, absolutely. You can't stand slip seating. I understand, Luke, but I'll tell you this. It's better than sitting somewhere. When they give you another truck, they go, here, just take this truck. That's simpler than if you're an owner and couldn't get another truck, or maybe you had to rent one at your own cost or something. For me, it's not for me. Hey, Mark, you just got a number for how many executive Mondays? No, I don't. I should go back and add those up. Probably at least 50 or 60, I think. As a company, I have to adjust what I'm told I have to do. I've had many times I've butted heads with dispatch trying to get me to do something that might not be safe. Well, that's different. It might not be safe, right? And you say, look, I'm not doing it. Simple as that. Company or owner operator. I would tell them, look, I'm not doing it. It's simple as that as a company driver. It's no problem. You should be, your company shouldn't make you do unsafe things. And it's the other thing about it. If you're at a company and they're constantly trying to make you do things that you say are unsafe, that's not going to be a great company. They should bend to you on that. As long as you're not abusing it and saying, oh, well, it's raining, so it's an unsafe day. If it's a legit unsafe thing, your company should say, okay, we're good with that. And companies know who's violating this and who isn't. Companies have drivers that they know are good drivers, and there's always a few percent at every company that are the problem. At every company, going to abuse every single thing, certainly. If you're an owner-operator, you should get out of jury duty because you're the company. They can't expect you to go out of business. Oh, that's interesting. That'd be an interesting thing to say to them, wouldn't it? I don't like White Castle because of the onions, but their chicken and fish sandwiches are yummy. Well, that's the point of White Castle. Who goes there for a fish sandwich? Most of the time when you complain, they simply fire you. Many companies don't care if you're safe or not. Well, those companies should go out of business. I agree with you. But you still have to do what is safe. Certainly. They're pretty good about it here. Okay, so as long as you don't abuse it, there's no problem with it. I spray passenger luggage with bug spray if I have to pick up another driver to take them to the yard. I don't want bed bugs in your truck. You tell them to put that stuff on the catwalk back there. I've always tried to err on the side of safety. Some don't. I agree. Some drivers should go along with it, but everybody has to be safe. Ban the White Castle haters. I know we're going to have to do that. I mean, we can't be hating on White Castle here. Holy mackerel. They're some of the best things going. Michael, I got a lease once with a full maintenance lease, so that wasn't bad. Just the load pay was no good. Well, what are some things companies overpromise to drivers in your experience? Well, GP, I'll tell you that it just depends on the recruiter when you call places. You know, some recruiters will say whatever they want because the recruiter's paid per driver. That's what I have found. We'll see what people say here. But I found that you can call a company and they'll say these certain things. If you call them back from another number, get a Google number. I have tons of Google numbers. get a Google number and call them back from another number and get a different recruiter, they tell you a whole different litany of things that you're going to get. And that's the super frustrating thing. Why are you not wearing your costume, Mark? Yeah, it's past Halloween. Kind of my thinking, you shouldn't be fired for trying to be safe. I agree. You shouldn't be penalized because you know what you can safely do. I agree, and you would be protected in the law. So I'd go down and get unemployment. You need all this in writing. Anytime a company wants you to do something unsafe, you have to get it in writing from them. Totally in writing. They ask stuff here too. This is not like this is the heaven-made company or whatever. They're like, oh, well, can't you just go do this? And I'm like, sure, send me that to my phone. Let's text me that and we'll do it. And no problem. And I'll tell you, they've never sent a text about it. So that's something you can do too. They'll do that here too. They really need a load. Oh, you're here. Can you go take this? This trailer doesn't have any brakes. Can you go move it over here? Something? No. Okay. Send me a message that says this trailer doesn't have any brakes on it and you need me to drive it. And then we'll go from there. And I go and send it from your official work phone. Okay. Never get a text about it. I've never gotten a text back. But just in general, they're pretty good about it. Keto walk to get fit. Hello. What's going on? Where did I go? Right. Of course, I messed up my spot. Okay, Dwight McQueen. Hello, everyone. I'm just getting back to Chicago. I had to go to Mississippi to bring back another truck and trailer. I'll take In and Out over White Castle there. That's more nationwide, I guess. Well, out west. I don't think they overlap. White Castle was the original Whirler Wiener, 1927, right? I hope you don't tell your co-driver about this channel. Yeah, my co-driver? You mean this co-driver? Right, she's not going to hear about it. Where'd she go? I don't know where she went off to. There was a fantastic episode of Undercover CEO about White Castle, by the way. Oh, really? I didn't see that one. I've taped those shows when it comes on. Got to get a White Castle burger with jalapenos. Take 20 to go. Yeah, just get a double pack. Fast food is terrible and makes you sick every time your company lies to a certain degree. It depends on the recruiters. Certainly, it depends on the recruiters and how the company trains them and how they're paid, I think. What Blue Parrot do you? I have a 350. Blue Parrot 350. James Voss, your cats bawl and cry until they get their food. I hear you, right? But they just know they got to wait. And actually, I feed them before the show so that they kind of are quiet about it during the show. How do you get a Google number for your phone calls? You need separate emails? I don't know. No, you just go to Google phone. How did I get that? Phone.google.com. Type in the Google, how do I get another Google phone number? And you can just get random phone numbers and you get to pick the area code and everything from all around the country. And you can have them sent to your phone. You can do them through a computer. There's a lot. And then you can just use them one time and cancel them. That's a good way to do it for these places too. Bring back White Castle Sloppy Joes. I don't remember seeing those there. IHOP and White Castle are hogwash. As long as you don't get rid of the roller wiener, we're good. That's true. Where did I, and I've lost off of my spot as normal. We undercover called a carrier recently, said, we can't give you any details about driving with us, so you send a photo of your CDL. Wow. I wish I knew who that was. That's worse than Stevens. And that kind of thing. Who's going to do that? Although drivers do it. If I'm looking to come to a company, I mean, it's not unreasonable to ask, what does it pay, right? How often will I be home? It's not like, what are your financials of your private carrier, right? Just simple stuff that a carrier should be happy to do. But I tell you, this happens all the time. I had a question about lease purchase. Is it true we should never lease a truck through the company? I don't think so. I mean, some people are in for it, but I don't. You know, that's your main asset. And if a company closes like Falcon, if you were leasing from Falcon, those trucks went back to the leaseholder. Because you don't own the truck, you're renting it. Worst case scenario, lease a truck from a leasing company outside of a carrier if you have to do it that way. And then you can go and take your truck somewhere else if you don't like the carrier. I wouldn't lease from a company itself. I don't want them controlling my asset. In-N-Out burgers are better? I don't think so. Getting protected by the law didn't help that Trans Am driver that refused to pick up a trailer with frozen brakes to take a shop to get the trailer and his heater fixed in a blizzard. Well, what happened with that guy? Court agreed with Trans Am, huh? It depends on the state, too. What state are they from? Some states are more friendly than others. And I will, send me, if you have information about that, I'd love to know about that. How many hours a day log in the sleeper? How many hours a day? You can log as many hours as you want in the sleeper, right? I've never had White Castle, Luke. It's time to get that done today. Do I follow any TV shows right now? I don't watch any TV during the week. We do tape Emergence for me during the weekends and the People's Court, which I've watched since the show came on in the early 80s and have not missed any of those, but that's about it. GP Transco was talking to Stevens. I wonder, right? Company leases are the trucker's equivalent of a buy here, pay here. I would only get a lease outside of a carrier just because you want control of your asset. Is minimal idling on modern diesel engines with DEF smart? Yeah. Considering the regeneration, is there a recommendation threshold? Yeah. Look, I've read the owner's manual for this truck that I have. I got the truck new. It says not to idle the truck at all. Okay, start the truck and drive away. So absolutely, it isn't any problem. And this one hardly ever regens, although it's in the shop now for problems. But it says in owner's manual, just drive them away. You don't have to idle them. GP Transco, you're 100% right about how recruiter pay affects the way they talk to drivers. Right. That's the reason the recruiters are not on commission, 100% salary. Oh, that's good. You should post that somewhere. Really, that would be if it isn't, right? That's a good thing to know for drivers. That's great. You don't have to worry that the person is getting money based on you coming there or not. Maybe that's why you get a lot of comments about your recruiters about how nice they are and they answer questions for everybody. They opened the first White Castle store where I'm from in Phoenix, Arizona, and they had to close it. Ran out of patties, there's no White Castles in Phoenix. When did they start on the West Coast? We got to get talking to White Castle. We won't mention who it was. Okay, well, I'm going to say it's Stevens. That's all there is to that. Magic Matrix, what do you do if the company you work for doesn't pay your paycheck in full? What's the best way going about it? File with the state Department of Wages, Unemployment. It's on there. They have a website. Go to it and file. They'll try to get your money for free for you. If you need to be paid, generally, most states say on your next regular payday for the money that you're owed. So if you haven't not been paid in full, just file there and say, look, I worked and they won't pay me. And they're going to go to your company and say, why are you not paying this person? They will have to respond to it. That way you have them work for you. It doesn't cost you anything. That's the first thing you do. Trans Am is from Olathe, Kansas. All right, so Kansas must be more friendly to companies than it is to drivers. Because that's an FMCSA thing. I mean, they maybe should I might file somewhere on the internet and see how you can file a complaint with the FMCSA with that. My opinion, if you're going to lease, just save an extra $1,000 of finance. You can run anywhere, and if you go under, you still got your truck. Yes, that's certainly the best. Rather than leasing, buy the truck out right somewhere, or finance it from somewhere outside of the company. Certainly. How many hours does Gracie log into sleep per day? Like 23 and a half. Might as well chime in on White Castle. Someone said that he has both. That has had both. The frozen ones you can buy at Walmart are better than fresh. No way. I refuse to believe that. The grease is right from the thing is wonderful. I'm going to find the trailer or news report and send it to you. Okay, great. I didn't hear about that. Peak goes into regen automatically when idling? Really? K&B recruiters are salary for that reason? Well, maybe companies should go to that. The closest White Castle to you is 50 minutes away. Good. You can be there by a little after 3. Give me the dollar menu at Taco Bell. Well, the White Castles are less than $1. I want Golden Corrals at truck stops. Some of them have that type of thing, right? Gracie must be a trainer for England as much as she sleeps. Well, because there's so many seats there, right? She's got all these other cats to train. You know, Bridget doesn't like it, but they don't get along well. I will say that. I thought they would I was hoping they would get along better. They don't seem to get along that well yet. We do have a $1,000 referral bonus for drivers and office staff, but that's a different story. Yeah, that's different. That's when they're paid on commission, then all they do is lie. Every driver has a story of calling a company and then being lied to at the company, and it shouldn't happen at all. No matter if you're going in there to be a recruiter, if you're going there to work in the office, to be a driver, anybody, right? Just tell the people the truth. The poor guy from Trans Am froze to death. Yeah, that's a shame. And that the state didn't side with him, he still needs to file. It depends how long ago it was. Keto Walk Fit, have a great day. Keep the rubber side down. You're going to sleep. All right. All right. Well, we will see you soon whenever you get back from that. Don't worry, Gracie will join you soon. If you have an 8,000 mile verifiable, what's a good place to work? Wow, I'd have to look that up. Maybe there's somebody here from Oklahoma. Talked to a former Sierra England trainer and said he never drives. He's not logged in and is not logged into the ELD, and IHOP is going into the truck stop in Petro in Baltimore. Trainer is not logged in. That's the problem. He needs to be logged into the e-log. And they must have a provision in their e-log to log 3 people in, because after I heard that they had these 3 bunk trucks, I checked ours. You can't log 3 people in. So they must have a way to do that. George says, my cat's name is Mr. Salvatore. He keeps the other cats organized in the neighborhood. Oh, your cat must have met Roger Penske. I like how Loves are opening more every month. It's really good that they do that. Yeah, you met the poor guy from Trans Am, almost frozen that he's still alive. Exactly. Ruben, what's going on? Hello. Cruising on I-40 to Miraloma, California. Oh, that's awesome. The cats are putting on a show for you and the missus about them not liking each other. Yeah, maybe. Because Gracie's the one that's having the problem. What other things? I got a ton of these written down. Another reason why trucking is better now than it was. Look, the seats. Who remembers these old vinyl seats or whatever? What about the seats? Are wonderful. Our seats got a button in it that massages you. It vibrates and all this stuff. And some of these, some of you get these super nice Bostrom seats or whatever. Sears seats, super nice seats. What about that? What about that? Mark, what happened to Omnitracs? Well, they had a problem this weekend. They went down, it turns out. Comfortable man, thank you for being here. And all the Omnitracs, of certain models of the Omnitracs, I will say, stopped working. There was one new model they said worked. The old one stopped working. And I put a link in the description to this from the FMCSA. All you have to do is recreate your last 8 days of logs, and that can mean out of your mind, and then run a paper log. Not that you're out of your mind, but that you recreate them just from your memory. And you can continue to run a paper log until your electronic log is repaired. They're working on it. I don't know if it's back up or not, but soon they are working on it. Just called, nice view of Albuquerque. Sweet. Just called Sierra England and asked for pay with 10 years, no tickets, and they said they'll start you at 35 cents. Oh, awesome. There's probably a raise in the next few years, though. That's pretty good. You should call them back and get a different person and see if it's a different amount. 35 cents a mile. It's in the comments from the video I sent you at the CR England trainer logs. He has to log a student out. So he can't do that. He can't be in there without being logged in. That's not allowed. Oscar, that's CEO pay. The company we called advertises 55 cents solo dry van. We were told that teams are actually the only ones that get dry van. 55 cents is for flatbed, and they can't promise a cents per mile. See, so they're already lying in their ad. So if a driver calls, that should be the end of it. You should not continue with them at all. If there's a discrepancy in the ad and what they tell you, it's not going to get any better at a company, certainly. James Foster remembers the old seats. Yeah, right. Springs popping out of them or whatever. Up and down, your head's hitting the ceiling. The seats now, 1,000 times better. 1,000 times. They're 35 cents. They're crazy. Seriously, glad I left Sierra England before the 3 per truck thing became a thing. Yeah, I mean, come on. And logging in, and how did they get away with that? Where's the DOT on that? You know, everybody should write to the DOT and tell them, hey, they've got trainers that are not logged in. I would write to them, but they won't answer me. I'm starting over the road tomorrow as a company driver. Any advice? Where are you going? Where are you going over the road tomorrow? Did that Pam from Sierra England pass her CDL? Yes, she said. Well, I don't know personally. She said she passed it and went with a trainer. So yes, I'm going to assume it's true. She said yes, she passed it and went out for a full week, which sometimes are scary because there's no cell phone signal. But yes, presumably she has her CDL and went out with them. So your Omnitracs rebooted twice today. They did say they're working on it. Your Omnitracs worked all weekend. There was a model of Omnitracs that worked, but there were several models that did go out. And look, almost all of Knight was out. Almost all of Schneider was out. Some huge companies. So depends on which one you have. And they did say they're working on it. Micah's Omnitracs is working. Twiggs is not back up on Omnitracs. Yeah. So you can just continue your day on paper logs. Oscar, Michael, I'll be the next CEO. I'll sell your truck and go to work out there. Yeah. Look, if you're there 3 months, you are the CEO there. Can't you get them for false advertising? Not really. I mean, plus, who are you going to go to? Are you going to write to, say, the false advertising government agency? They don't care. Nobody cares. It's not like a big deal. You know, they don't care. Starting over the road with 1 year experience at 51 cents. That's pretty good. With love at JAT at Fort Wayne. I put them on the channel. I love their deal. Are you getting mileage there or are you getting hourly there? Go ahead. It can only get better. Western Express new terminal in Connecticut. Nice. Sierra England has a DOT exception to the trainer actually training. DOT, oh, I'd love to see about that. What kind of exception? They got their own exception where the trainer doesn't have to log anything? I don't know about that. Air ride cabs and suspensions make a huge difference. Oh my gosh, yes. Air ride cabs and suspensions on there too, right? The air ride, what a change that was from a spring, the whole truck being spring ride. Oh my gosh. Having a truck that sits on air is super awesome. As opposed to springs, terrible. Just that makes your day better. Between that and the seats, how much better is it doing it that way? Sierra England has billboards that read $30 million invested in pay. That's true. And you got offered 35 cents. That made it more laughable. Well, 30 million times, all those drivers. You might get 51 cents, but how many miles will you get? That's the question. We don't know till you get there. I've been wanting to call Western and see what they offer you, but I'm afraid they'll just constantly call you. No, the only one that continues to call me is PTL. Of all places, I get a call at least once a week from PTL, the only one that still calls me. Hi, this is so-and-so from PTL. We've got you scheduled for orientation Monday. Please give me a call back and verify this, and we'll get you all set up. Luis says 2,300 miles. That'd be a nice check to get started. James, you'd rather sit in a folding chair and drive than some of those old air ride seats. They were horrible. People don't realize, what some of those trucks were. I got another truck here. Let's see how about it? Who remembers this? Who can name this kind of truck? How about that? Remember seeing these things go down the road? Holy moly. That wasn't that long ago when these trucks were all over the road. Not long ago. And that was considered a big sleeper then. Tow truckers are being forced to put ELD in our trucks even though we are considered emergency vehicles. You would be exempt generally under the regulations. So because you're exempt, it's your company doing it. Unless you go outside the air mile radius or whatever. Blue Parrot giveaway begins at 2 p.m. in a half hour. All right, we'll do that, GP Transco. We'll set the timer for that, certainly. My dash cam, let's see. I need a number from somebody. Put a 2-digit number up there. My first truck ran an old vacuum cleaner hose from the AC vent under my shirt. You could feel it. The air wasn't great if you had it. Ruan's 36.5 cents. That's really low, too. But Ruan is like Hogan and all these other companies. Every one of their accounts pays differently. So they do, like here, they do milk, and that pays a flat rate per day. Everyone's different. Michael says your advice is not Western Express. Exactly. Oscar, I'm an owner-operator but decided to call and just find out they blew your mind with 35 cents. Well, are you considering selling your truck for that kind of money? Micah says disc brakes. I haven't even gotten to that yet. But I agree with you. Disc brakes are going to be a game changer in trucking as well. And I think that will be super awesome. Let's see what do I else have here. Oh, Qualcomm, Omnitracs, all that stuff. You can, except for today, right? You can communicate back and forth without having to stand in line at the Flying J and wait with a whole handful of quarters to call your boss at the end of the day and see what's going on. Thought any CDL holder needs to be logged in while the truck is in motion. Yeah, well, and not any CDL holder necessarily, but because he's working on the truck and he's going to potentially could be driving, I don't see how they get away with not having him logged in. It's $30 million in CEO pay. They didn't say whose pay went up for that. Air-powered windshield wipers, remember those? Yeah, I have that down here too, wipers. The air-powered wipers, you used to be able to turn the wipers on individually in the truck. Similar to this truck that I first started driving here, the White Road Commander, you could turn the wipers on individually. Isn't that great? You could just turn your side on, turn the other. They could be at different speeds. Oh my gosh, that was a problem in trucking. The more air you had, the faster they went. You won't ever leave your current company. Just want to do it for fun. Being home every day is way too good and driving cool trucks. You do have a pretty good deal there. Nice trucks and home every day. Backwoods. Someone should care. That's called lying in my book or professional. They should, but I mean something like that where they put an ad. They'll say, oh, well, we printed it wrong or whatever. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Michael Irwin says GMC General. That is a GMC General. And these things were all over the roads not that long ago. And this is a huge sleeper for its time. This truck is like an early 80s truck. That sleeper was really big then. Way big. Unusual to see. Is that a Western Star? Wild Bill? Yeah. That's you go down to your Chevy dealer and get that. PTL stands for push that load. Interesting. James Faust says Western Star. That's a GMC General. You should be able to sue for that kind of BS. Yeah, but nobody cares for that little thing, and that's the problem. Dispatch is much easier to back down from an unreasonable times on dispatch. When I started, it was make the fuel times match and don't tell us about your problem. That's true. All you had to do is match your fuel card or fuel time. That's how it used to be on your logs. Everything else, they didn't care. Cattle trunks are exempt, but they have ELDs. But that would depend on your company as well. That was a picture of a GMC General. That's good. I'm glad people got that. GMC made a General and Brigadier. Yes, they did. My first working job was with a Brigadier. Chef Matt, I'm going through an inspection this week. I hate renting. Very poor problems get fixed here. You're going through an inspection. Where are you renting a truck? We got disc brakes in Europe for decades. I'm surprised it takes that long to get them in the USA. Yeah, they're still not mandatory here. Some trucks are just starting to get them on there. Our 2020s, because I looked at one parked out there, don't have them yet, so not yet. Jeremy, you forgot about the Brigadier? Yeah, that's its little brother. Remember, everybody got a rank. All the trucks got a rank. 35 cents for 3 bunks. Yeah, it's crazy. Chevy had the Bison and the Bruin. Yes, that's good. Another reason trucking is better today, GPS and ECU tracking allows for way less sitting. Correct. Companies can find you a load, and when they know what they're doing and the drivers benefit. Yeah, I have that down too. GPS and really the communication back to the company. They can send you the load right away. You didn't have to call in. And so because you'd have to go to the truck stop and wait in line and get out your phone card, 1-800 pin drop, and wait to call and then see if they had a load. And they go, no, we don't have a load. Call us in an hour. You go back to the truck, call them in an hour. That's how it was. You know, people that, oh, that's not a problem. It's a huge problem because you never know your load. Here they can just send it to you. They can stack 3 loads on you because they know where you're going to be. That didn't happen back then. James Faust says it's the second time you've been wrong this year. George Wilson liked those trucks. They were good. Cruise on the highway, right. The drums are trash. The discs are way better. I mean, you don't see drums on cars much anymore unless you're getting a Nissan Versa or something like that, or a Sprint. But we're not in them in the trucks yet here. Oh, you're not renting a truck. You rent your place of residence? Okay. Hogan offered you a home daily job hauling chicken guts. Yeah. Is that on the bills? Pay is a combination of hourly or per load. Yes or no? I don't know. What do you say? How often are you going to be home? What are you going to make? And how many hours is it going to take you to do it? And what do you have to do with the load? I mean, that sounds kind of gross. What do you have to do with it? Luis, have you ever heard that if you complete 5 loads, you automatically get $900? Then continue at 51 cents. That's interesting. What the heck company is doing that? I mean, it just depends on how the company works. Your 2012 is disc brakes. I just love not having to climb under a truck in winter to just brakes in the driveway. That's unusual. That was just the beginning of them. Here. Wild Bill. Okay, here it is. I had a Sky Pager from the company, and if they wanted me, they could just beep, and then they had to find a phone booth. I had Sky Page. Okay, Sky Page. This is when I was running, what was the name of that? Coast Dispatch. Coast Dispatch gave me one. I'd run O'Hare to JFK to Columbus, Ohio, back to O'Hare. And we had Sky Pagers because then they would beep you with the phone number. Beep, you would wear it like a phone, but you couldn't answer it. It would beep with their number, and it was through satellite network. So everywhere you went, you could get a page, and then you'd have to go call the place, Sky Paging. And then you could give that number to your family, and then they could beep you with a whatever, oh, these 173 means this, 163 means that, or whatever. Yeah, Sky Paging. Sky Pager. Love it. Michael's not heard of that. I did drive a GMC Astro for a while. Oh, really? Like this? 1985 GMC Astro. How about that? That truck then, and I'm pointing at it again, which no one could see me but the cat. I'm pointing at the gigantic windshield, which it's hard to tell here, but that went down almost to your knees, which gave you excellent visibility, but and it also kind of made you in like a fishbowl. But that is a GMC Astro right there. You could put that thing anywhere. And look, here we go with this little tiny sleeper again. This was like the competition to the Road Commander from White Trucker Company. So they look very similar. As I'm clicking, right, there we go. So though that is a GMC Astro, and that's exactly what you're talking about. That's Western Regional Pay, Luis. Guys, Polk said they never got more than 5 loads. Is that Western Express? Who in the heck are we talking about? You remember Pager Days, Dash Camp Sam, right? We also had our own personal pagers. So that's the other thing, cell phones, right? I put on here, cell phones. How great are cell phones? Does that not change? It doesn't just change everybody's life. It changes trucking. A company can get in touch with you. You can get in touch with your family. You can keep in touch with everybody. Cell phones. It does sound like a scam. It doesn't sound like a scam. I don't think it sounds like a scam. It just depends on how many loads you're going to get and stuff. 5 loads, it depends. Does it take 2 days to do a load? What's the story? James Faust, yeah, it was that very truck that you drove. But that's an Astro. People don't see them anymore. I haven't seen them on the road in years. Michael says all Smith trucks have discs, really, but some reason all the new trailers still come with drums. Why don't they disc the trailers too? Oh, Luis says it's Western. Yeah, look, Western Express, no. Do not do Western Express. You'll be lucky to get the $900 there. I only send people there that have like felonies, like a lot of felonies, like recent, like current, like I'm standing over a dead body. Where can I get a job? That kind of thing. Otherwise, Western Express is probably not going to be the best. You should go online and look up Western Express reviews just from random people around the country, and they don't get the best in reviews either. I'm not convinced that that's a great place to start unless you can't go somewhere else, and then you may not have any choice, and so you have to. White was bought up by Freightliner back then. For a while, it was White GMC though, if you remember that. Western Express, that figures. Yeah, Western Express is not going to be your best bet to get started. Michael says K&B is 50 cents to $12.50 a week minimum. At least that's even. I'd rather send you there. That's even better. Dashcam Sam, I never had to pay road usage tax at a weigh station every state. That must have been a downer. Yeah, okay, I didn't even write that down. You used to have to go, when you'd go into a state that you didn't have a permit, you have to stop and pay road use tax or whatever. And what about bingo cards, right? You don't have to do any of that anymore. You used to have a card in your truck. Every state had a sticker on it. It was crazy trying to get all that stuff taken care of. Just what about power windows? People don't think about that. Power windows, look, that passenger window used to be air on a lot of the trucks. Some of them it was even crank, but on some it would be air. So in the crank windows, you couldn't roll it down in the rain. I like to roll that window down in the rain so I can see the mirrors when I'm backing up. If it was crank and you were in a cab over like that Astro, I mean, you would have to climb over the truck, over the doghouse, right, and go crank that window down, then climb back over there. Eventually it became air, which wasn't any better. It wasn't much better because it would go out all the time when you're backing up and using your air because you didn't have power steering because the steering was run by air. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. It's so much better today. Luis, that's what you want to know? Yeah, look, try and get somewhere other than Western Express. Believe me. Michael, when I worked for Western, they would give over-the-road drivers regional loads, so they didn't give them more than 5 loads. Isn't that great? That's how these companies do this. They promise all this and then don't do it. And then they wonder, though, why drivers quit. Oh, it can't just be getting drivers in. Keeping drivers should always be a thought at a company. What can we do to keep drivers here? Maybe we could lie to them. Will they stay then? I don't know. Let's try lying to everybody. Okay, that doesn't seem to work good. Luke, did I ever back in anybody in my rookie days? No. Fortunately, I'm accident free and going to keep it that way. I hope for the rest of my days. You just never know. But no, I never backed into anybody, and I'm probably got lucky on some of it, certainly. Download Driver Pulse on your phone and put your application in with multiple companies. That sounds super dangerous to put your information out there like that. Truckin' Pop-Up says that's a GMC General. Yes. GP Transco has a new slogan. Rethink what you know about trucking. Oh, what do you guys think? You know, I've been seeing you guys in ads that just pop up on Facebook from other companies too. They have one of your trucks in the ad. I forget who it is. I'd have to look it up, but I did notice. Oh, that's a GP Transco truck, right? For some, trucking service or whatever, right? Love it. I'm sure that you probably don't even know about it, or maybe you do. I don't know, but I noticed it was a GP Transco truck. I'll have to screenshot the ad next time I see it, which I should have done. Mark, you should have done that. I know, I should have. My advice is this: renting in general is not helping you. It is helping rich people. It's a great idea to live in your truck and have a family member allow your documented address. If you're single. I like renting. Okay, I do. They take care of everything and my rent doesn't go up. So, and in Indiana, I get to deduct the rent from your taxes, which is not generally a benefit, but most people now don't get to deduct their mortgage because of the increased, their mortgage interest, because of the increased personal exemption. They double the exemption, so most people don't pay enough in interest to take that off their taxes. Indiana is one of a few states that allows you to take your rent regardless of anything else. So you get to take that off and still save on that. I save more than somebody that has probably a $200,000 house. Even at 4%, they only paid $8,000 in mortgage interest, but it's $12,000 for their exemption. So they're going to take the exemption, not take the mortgage interest deduction. I'm going to take the $12,000 and get a renter's deduction. So it depends where you live, but I think that it can work out good. They don't raise the rent here. They fix everything. I'm super happy with it. Hey, GT40, your attorney just called. Uh-oh. And the trucking company that rear-ended you, causing your injury, wants to settle. They don't want to go to court. Of course they want to settle. And look, I'm not an attorney, right? But I think the first offer is always a low ball. So I'd always hold out at least for a second offer. That's what I think. But see what your attorney thinks about that. And yeah, absolutely. They should pay all your bills and everything if it's their fault. Absolutely. Michael says that's too long of a slogan. It won't fit good on a business card. Is JB Hunt a good company? Go after your year under your belt. Here we got this mega carrier again. JB Hunt. Go find a a private carrier, a dedicated route, something like that. None of these mega carriers turn out to be super great companies. Let's have a discussion next week on blindside backing and all the particulars. Oh my gosh. How to blindside back. Lesson 1. Try not to. Smith Transport hires. You pay 45 cents a week and 40 cents for bi-weekly. Yeah, the Walmart account is where you really make the money at Smith, right? Where did I run off to here? Right. I've lost my spot. Port of entry, New Mexico and Arizona, you had to show your bingo card. Right. Oh, you have to stop in. Must stop in. Got to walk in there. Right. I thought I gave them a chance, being it's their new terminal in Connecticut. Western has a terminal in Connecticut? Western offered you $1 from $5 as an owner-operator. That's not bad. Are you taking that? That's pretty good, right? Somebody told me that Western does not have a backing test. Really? They go, look, we know you just don't know how to do it, so just get out of here. Do I have any DOT stories? Not really. I mean, I got stopped in Iowa years ago, which I always remember this. This was on paper logs, okay? And I'm not a saint on that, so I'm not saying like, So I go in there, and he goes, you know why I pulled you in here? He goes, pull in, come inside. I go, no. He goes, you don't have a front license plate. I know I have a front license plate on the truck. I go, yeah, I do. He goes, well, I didn't see it, so give me your logbook and everything. He's looking at it. He takes out a calculator and a map. He's mapping it out. I swear to you, I'm standing there. He goes, what are you doing here? I go, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, I know you're doing something. That's what he said. I go, I don't know. I don't know anything. I go, it's totally okay, right? He gave it back to me. He goes, get out of here. That guy, he was clicking. Oh my gosh. That guy, I know you're doing something. I go, I don't know what you're talking about. I go, I'm going to go look at my license plate, which was on the truck. So that's one of the only great stories I have really about the DOT. I used a driver pulse to apply at Smith and had all my info saved. I'm not a fan of it, maybe because I'm in my extreme upper 30s. Plus, I want to talk to the company in advance. in person, like at least on the phone, call them, what is the story here? What are we doing? So, for me, putting information out on an app, I'm not a huge fan of it. And I'm big on technology, just not that kind of thing. Michael, Western rely on the tax rebates they get from hiring felons and low-income people, and they don't care how long they last. That's a lot of these carriers. You don't realize. That's why when people show up at a lot of these places and they go, oh, they let me go because they found something in the background, they get paid when you show up. You show up to their orientation, they get paid. They boot you, doesn't matter, they keep that money. So that's why a lot of that is. The driver pulse application is great. I'll take you guys' word for it. I wouldn't do it. Western has the backing test, but you can fail it and get hired. Oh, it's not really a test. Laura is here, just dropping by to say hello. Good, thank you for being here. I hope that you get feeling better soon. Get some rest over there. Big money, keep talking about the good old days. Where did I go off to here? Right, Western Relays and Tax. I'm off here. Oh, and Armstrong Steering. What about Armstrong Steering? Right. What about when you had a little heater sitting in the floorboard of your truck? Yeah, I never had that little heater thing. I did hear about him. Oscar, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. I will say the Armstrong Steering, we're talking about manual steering. My White Road Commander right here. Where did I go off to? Right, this White Road Commander, I took my test and all that in manual steering. We were out testing in this thing. Manual steering, right? A lot of these trucks had manual steering. And then it went to air steering before we finally got power steering. Now we can turn it with one finger like an old Cadillac. Okay, so people don't realize the steering wheel is gigantic too. Not like it used to be. Huge steering wheel. That's why, so you can get a good grip. You'd be standing up in that goofy, weird seat trying to pull that thing around. Absolutely. That's why I think it's way better now from all this stuff. Luis will fly you to Pittsburgh and shuttle you to Roaring Springs. Well, that's that's better than a lot of places. And they put you in your own room, too. Michael says, who's got a mortgage? They have a new terminal in Plainfield. Just thought they might be different. And the Western has never shown themselves to be different. If you can't get a job somewhere else, like you do have some kind of background, and that's for you to decide, right? You don't have to put that here. Then maybe Western is for you. If you can go somewhere else, go somewhere else. Oscar, you're moving your axles about to head to San Antonio from Savannah. Oh, that's not bad. And was posting your truck on OfferUp. I can't deny the 35 cents at England. It's too good. I just can't wait for 300 after tax. That's pretty good money. I mean, 35 cents. I mean, that's pretty good. And believe me, somebody's going to take that truck immediately. I've seen the commercials. Wild Bill says, what is a mortgage? Exactly. James Faust in Wyoming, you had to stop at the port of entry and give them your route, and they give you a paper to put in your window. Right. You always, some of these states made you stop in every time. Everybody had to stop in. That's why the port of entries at some of these states have huge parking lots, because everybody had to come in. There's another company called Smith. Yeah, there's probably a lot of them, and there shouldn't be. The DOT should only be allowed one company to have the name. That's what an old hand told you here. Never blindside if you can help it. I agree. Do not blindside if you do not have to. Don't do it if you're not good at it. It's really the same as the other side, okay? Either side of the truck is the same. People don't realize that, right? Oh, it's harder. It's really the same. It's all in the setup. It should go right in there if you set it up. But if you just started driving a week ago, you may want to avoid blindsiding because you're going to get out and look 40 million times. Oh, that's another thing. Power mirrors for blind setting. The mirror didn't used to be power on that side for a while. Then we got a power mirror. So you blindside, you had to get out and look, or you'd get way over there. Yeah, absolutely. Power mirrors. That's another one. What else do I have here? Right. The interstate system. Oh, power wipers. Right. All that stuff. Entertainment on the road. Everybody brings a PlayStation. They have a TV set. You didn't have any of that back then. Where are you going to put it? In your little tiny sleeper? Got told a story yesterday at the TA in Bloomsbury from the service manager. They had a driver who didn't know how to unhook his trailer. True or false? Absolutely true. We've had it here because I have that on here also as automatic fifth wheel release, which I think is a benefit because you don't have to go get under there. It's real easy to do. You just press a button. Most of our trucks, not all of them, but most of them have an automatic fifth wheel release. But I guess this driver, who had not been driving long, had one of our older trucks with the manual release, and for some reason it wasn't there or something, and they had to put him in a different truck that day. So he gets a truck with an automatic fifth wheel release, one of our new trucks. And I guess he got where he was going and he couldn't get the trailer released. He had no idea how to do it because pulling that lever on the automatic ones is hard to do. It's very hard. And so it's stuck in there. And he ended up calling dispatch, and which is useless because they don't drive. So they're asking drivers, I guess, out the window, hey, which one of these drivers sitting around? Oh, who could tell this guy how to do this? So, yeah, so I totally believe it because it's happened here. Totally believe it. And that's really the company should train better. All companies, mine and all of them, should do better training for that kind of stuff. There's animosity towards DOT officers, right? Cell phones, cause write-ups in trucks with dash cams. They can't. Cell phones now, for a while everybody had a cell phone, but right now you get written up in the truck if it's got a little camera that watches you. True, we're going like the other way on the technology now. Michael, talk to Smith before you did the application over a driver pulse. I would just get it. Personally, I'm just going to go straight to them. You only blindside with the day cab. Some of our day cabs don't have windows in them. So it's just like driving a sleeper truck. Some of them, it's 50-50. Luis, you appreciate the info. You're quite welcome. Look, try and get somewhere else if you can, unless you have to go to Western. If you are holding a bloody knife in your hand right now and there's a body near you, you may have to go there, but otherwise you probably can get on somewhere else. Do drivers without Easy Pass in New England pay tolls with gold coins? Who carries that much cash? That's the thing too. What about the Easy Pass? How much better does that make your life? You used to have to bring hundreds of dollars with you to go to JFK. I'd go there a couple times a week on this round trip. Oh my gosh, I'd have to bring hundreds of dollars with me. Do not take mistreatment. Stand up for yourself and others. Before the rich know it, the whole bottom line will be in jeopardy. They'll absolutely meet demands. Absolutely. You get what you'll tolerate. You can blindside if you set up right and have room. Yeah, absolutely. You can blindside anything. Look, it doesn't matter which side you're backing in on. It's exactly the same. It's all in the setup. Western charge you to have the Easy Pass? Well, they charge the driver? They can't charge a driver for that. That's not an allowed charge, Western. Don't go with Heartland, no mileage. No, try Millis, right? It probably had the old V8 Cat engine in it too, sounding nice. Well, the one I drove at my truck didn't, that White Road Commander, but that GMC General might have had a V8 Cat engine in it. Okay, your GP Transco is going to head out, have some office staff to interview. Thanks for the show. Let us know who wins the headset and send us the info and you'll get it. Okay, thank you very much, GP Transco. We'll get to that here shortly. And I hope your interview goes good. Thank you for being here today. Luke, I hate driving the turnpike. At least it's Easy Pass, right? James, on paper logs, I told the DOT he couldn't go back 8 days because I just came off at 34. He bought it. Nice. Well, he doesn't have to go back 8 days, right? But, yeah. What about remote control mirrors and heated mirrors? Yeah, exactly, right? That mirror, that's automatic. Absolutely. And heated mirrors, what a boon that is. Heated mirrors. I didn't write that down, but absolutely. You can see in the wintertime. Like you're saying with Smith Transport and get 48 cents, right? Can make my pickup on time and I take every load. Well, you almost have to, right? I agree the driver Pulse 10 Street is very secure and safe. Plus you fill up your application in 5 minutes. And most of the companies use it to fill out applications. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not putting all that information out there like that. Intake heater instead of glow plugs. That's true. You wait. Nobody remembers that. You turn the key and it says wait. And you wait with that little squiggly line underneath it, right? Because you're heating the glow plugs in the truck. Oh my gosh. Richard Kraft said air operated wipers. Yeah. The wipers on this truck were air operated. And there were 2 knobs on the dashboard. GMC Astro did the same thing. And probably a lot of trucks. And you could turn either wiper on and to any speed you wanted. So that was pretty good. And it ran off the air of the truck. So when you're backing in, also with your air operated steering, you're turning the steering wheel and the air. You're using the air. The wipers are using the air. And as you're backing in, you're hitting the brakes and you run out of air. And the steering wheel stops turning because there's no air. Unbelievable. Entertainment used to be pinball games in the truck stop arcade. All right. They always had an arcade in the back. Showers. I put showers down too. Aren't the showers better? Come on. The showers are better. I remember going to the 76s and you had a shower room like the YMCA with shower heads in it or basic training. Well, Bill says mirrors in general, like the mirrors at the end of the hood. Exactly. Of course, you didn't need them when you didn't have a hood, but I totally agree. The hood mirrors, very helpful. That makes trucking better today, safer. The ride of the truck with this air conditioning? Oh my gosh, what about air conditioning? Most of these companies are sister companies to another company. So how do you choose the right one? That's a problem, right? You have to investigate every company. I agree. And it takes some time to investigate each place. I do have a list of questions on the website at truckinganswersnation.com that you can ask the companies, and then you can ask the company the exact same question and keep track of it. And that way, each company, you can get the answer from each company. Drivers of a bad company need to pull into a truck stop and reminded on duty until demands are met, and then did a 34-hour reset. There will be change. Yeah, that won't happen, though. Just become respectful. Emotions never win. Yeah, if everybody quit at a bad company, too, they couldn't do all this stuff. Knowing your truck, I would press the auto going down the highway. It doesn't work. If the truck is in motion, if the brake's pressed in at all, it doesn't work. The brakes have to be pulled and feet off the pedals. If you're touching a pedal, it doesn't work either. So, powered dash cam powered tandem pin release heaven. Yes, the tandem, all of our tandem pins released by power. Once in a while, I'll get one that's manual, but they're all powered. But the fifth wheel release is power, absolutely. If you have something in your background, talk to K&B. Depends on what it is. They'll hire. Look, talk to anybody before you talk to Western. Unless you're standing over a dead body or the cop, you're running and the cops are behind you and you're filling out the driver pulse thing while you're running from the cops, maybe. I agree, unless you got an air leak or the leveling valve is stuck closed, no slide. Then you can't do anything. It's still most of the time better. Thinking going to work for Bar None, good or bad? I like Bar None's program over there, Luke. The only time I don't mind blindsiding is at a truck stop with the angled spot. It's a little bit easier. Yes. My stepfather had mid-70s model Astro 95 with a 318 and a 13 speed. Very common. Those are super common trucks on the road back then. Saw them all over the place. Very, very common trucks. Now, never see them on the road. Cash is King Trucking made it back. I just went through an hour dead zone with AT&T. That's no good. Doesn't Bar None run only teams? No, Bar None has solo drivers. No more another ether injection. Oh, right, ether injection. You used to have a canister attached in the engine with ether in it. And you could, some of them did automatically, and I've seen buttons. You'd ether inject the engine to get it started. Absolutely. That's after you waited for the glow plug. I always told them, DOT, when he got pulled over, they asked for 8 days. I just told them he came off a 10-day vacation. Yeah, always fill out the vacation one. David, I've been driving 23 years, got an automatic about a year ago and love it. Yeah, what about automatics? Don't you like them? Nobody likes them until they get one. That's how it worked here when they switched over a few years ago. Everybody grumbled, and now there's no problem. Wind turbine noises. Let me turn off your windshield wiper. Yeah, you could turn it off when you ran out of air trying to back in with your air-powered steering. And then the steering wheel would go like this because you're running out of air. And then the window would come down because it was air operated. So your passenger window would start coming down slowly because there was no air to hold it up. Oh my gosh. Michael, they showed the offer page that covers 9 days and I was good to go. Good. I did not see anything about new trucks having PlayStations. You did not say anything. Yeah, I said what, arcade, they have PlayStations and stuff. You have to bring your own, but certainly. Well, Bill said shower. You used to get a shower coupon. When you fueled, you would go in and sign, unlike now, get a 3-page receipt. The middle page, I think the middle or the back page, right? That was your shower coupon. You turn that in and go to the shower room. Absolutely. Dashcam Sam, Autotrans is bliss. I love them. Omnitracs is causing your engine light to come on. Sometimes Freightliner told you possible. It's all plugged in, and they did have some problems. So, and they're still having problems with the Omnitracs right now. Most people that are on it are on paper at the moment. Ryan, what's happening? Michael, been noticing that more and more shippers have automatic air fresheners in the shipping office. Well, that's good. They probably should point them out in the driver waiting room sometimes. Michael says your wife used the website to look for companies for you while you were driving. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Your dealership wrecked your truck Saturday while being serviced. How do they do that? I like the integrated AC the trucks have now. The old trucks used to have that old Kaiser unit on the roof. Oh, right. If they had it at all. You had like an RV type unit on the roof. An APU now, too. You used to have to run the truck if you had air. Without air, sleeping in those trucks, disaster. Have I seen the new Terminator movie? No. A bar note only did night driving? Well, that's okay with me. Did they service it on the interstate? Yeah, what's the story? Would you rather flash your high beams or turn off your headlights to signal drivers they're okay? Seems like more people are turning them off now, and I hate that. Well, the flashing was always the worst. You weren't supposed to flash. You turn them off. That's why there's a button, at least on our steering wheel. And the Freightliners comes with a button to flash the headlights, meaning it turns them off and then turns them back on quickly. The bright thing, no. And look, I'll tell you this, I'm not a big light flasher. I'm just not. Unless it's bad weather and you can't see me, I'm just not a flasher because it gets people farther up in front of you if you don't do the headlights. So I'm not a huge fan of it. Why not multiple Smiths? You have two primes. Yeah, they're hard to tell apart. That's the thing. At prime, we don't know which prime is which. All down passenger side fuel tank, about a quarter fender bolt driver. Yikes, man. They should give you a loaner truck for that. Only thing everyone loves about the old days is paper logs. That's true. We should go back to the old days, and that's the only thing they really like, because that's what I have down here, ELD, and I think it's a benefit today. But many people will say that's the worst part of driving is the electronic log. But I'm just not a fan of paper logs. I think this is better because years ago I decided to not run illegal, I guess. So running legal and working less, it works out for me, I suppose. Flash off, not high beam. Yes, do not high beam, people. You dim your lights or flash or Marco signals so you can come back in. If people do that, I'm just never been a fan of it. I'm on disaster relief, no ELD. That's correct. You got an exemption for that. Some people would be able to manage, but the vast majority wouldn't, which we changed to ELDs to begin with. Well, because people were cheating them. It actually works out better for everybody. With the Astros big windshield, you had to watch where you were scratched. No doubt. James Faust, people don't realize, it doesn't look like it. That windshield goes pretty low, like below your knees in that truck, because you sit up pretty high in it. So in an Astro, everybody can see anything that you're doing. Whatever it is that you're doing to yourself, everybody can see. I hate flashing with the high beams. Exactly. 18 cents a mile, no power steering. Wonderful, says Pat. Springs, if you're lucky, no air and no jakes. That's correct. Jake brakes. I should have wrote that down. There were no jake brakes. Not every truck had an engine brake. So holy mackerel. All of that stuff matters. Because I always hear some people, that have been driving like a year. Oh, well, I always heard it was better back then. No. Only the pay relative to the pay now was better. Since the cold season is coming up, don't forget to set your tractor brakes when parking to avoid trailer brakes from freezing. Yes, you should always get in the habit, I think. If you're in the habit, only set the tractor brakes anyway year round. Never set your trailer brakes if you can avoid it. Mark is the kind of guy who is signaling passing trucks on an empty interstate at 3 a.m. Yeah, that's what I see too. There's so many people driving erratically, presumably tired because they can't, they're not awake normally at that time. James Faust started driving in the 70s. You could tell some stories. Pat says hot showers. Yeah, what about showers? I mean, I remember the rooms that were like a YMCA years ago where you would get a shower that way. Used to overflashing at the nickname Light Show. Nice. Do you still do that at your current position? Asked the Swift driver if he checked his blinker fluid and brake fluid. Did he? One of my friends hauls milk. They have him doing paper logs, so only they can cheat on the logs. He can't just do paper logs. The part of paper I miss and lack of GPS was you could do custom trailer your trip to stop by a landmark, whatever, and now they pretty much route you to be point to point. Well, that's true. You could do that kind of stuff. Oh, asbestos brakes. Nice. Don't they smell good coming down the hills? Even asked another driver where to check the fluids. Yeah, where is that? Where's the check spot? Had to call the shipper and receiver on a payphone. Yeah, you had to get your phone card out. You also had to call your company to get your next load. Do you have a load? And that's the problem. Oh, we don't have something yet. Call us back. Oh my gosh. So that was a problem. Giveaway time. Yeah, what is, let's go with 13. I love 13. So I'm going to write down the number 13 right here, and we'll set the timer. because GP Transco, which I should put their thing up here, since they're doing this, has said they're going to give away a headset today, a Blue Parrot 450. How about that? So from GP Transco, our friends there, I'm setting the timer. You can hear it clicky. Right there's the timer. I can't see the timer, okay? So when the timer goes off, I'm setting it over here. When the timer goes off, I will then go back 13 comments, and that person will win the headset. Now, the comments that I see are different than the comments you see necessarily. So we'll go back here on my screen and 13 comments, and that's how it'll work. And that person will then need to put their zip code in the comments and then send me their address, and I'll send it to GP Transco. That is compliments of GP Transco. So there you go. I missed the 99-cent gallon diesel. All right, that never bothered me too much, really. Called the shipper and receiver from the truck stop. That was always the problem. Light Bright, thank you very much. Bless you and everyone out here. Why does California hate truckers? They want us to deliver and immediately disappear. That's a lot of places have that, but I agree with you. And if drivers didn't bring them their stuff, you tell them, look, come to Yuma and get your stuff. That's how that ends. I don't like when people flash you to move over. It makes you feel dumb. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of why I don't do it. I mean, I'm thinking people are drivers, so you can kind of see to get over. That's my thought on it. If it's bad weather where it's really hard to see in the mirrors, that's one thing. But as just a general rule, I don't do it. So if you ever pass me, I probably won't give you the lights unless it's bad, unless the weather's bad out. Make the phone call at the payphones at the buffet booth. You used to be able to get the phone at your booth, and there was some seating for drivers only. Pat says, call back in 30 minutes, right? Who remembers that? They used to say that all the time. No load, call us back. No, you have to call them 12 times sometimes a day. No load, call us back. Oh my gosh, that's a total disaster. Where'd I go here? George Wilson. How about mandatory stopping for broke down trucks and cars like up in Alaska? Is that mandated in Alaska that you stop for a broke down truck? Really anymore? I think nobody stops because it's so easy really to get a hold of help, to get in touch with help anymore. It'd be great to try to win and try this. Yeah, the Blue Parrot, right? I have a 350. I love Blue Parrot. They're friends of the show anyway, and so sometimes they'll send those to give away. I've given other Blue Parrots away, front compliments of Blue Parrot, but this is compliments of GP Transco. That's going to be great. Too much layover time is a new job search time. Yeah, if it's unpaid. Cash is King Trucking. I saw a Swift driver hit a steer tire with a tire thumper yesterday. I thought that's probably as accurate as a tire pressure gauge. Why would he hit it with a tire pressure gauge? No, but seriously. So he's whacking the thing with the thumper. Oh, sounds full to me. Does it have, it's 70 decibels. It's a little bit low. I mean, come on. Wild Bill says Blue Parrot rocks, right? That's awesome. Breakdowns in the middle of nowhere. It's got to be better now than before. Yeah, your breakdowns, just that's better. You had to wait for somebody to come and get you or whatever. Now you just call them up from the convenience of the cab of your truck before somebody smashes into you. And it does get you off the road sooner and back to work faster. And sometimes you can use the company system like Qualcomm or whatever also to communicate with whoever does your breakdown at your place. Even if you own your truck, you can call somebody from the phone. Didn't the Astros lose the World Series? Very nice. Sports reference. Missed the Ontario TA back in the 80s. Yeah, which side? Split rim tires. Oh, like on these trucks, right? I think this truck had it on there, didn't it? This white have it on there? It does. No, wait a minute. This truck does not have it. None of these trucks have it today. That's surprising. Yeah, so I don't have it. Oh, good job, Mark. Okay, so where'd I go? Okay, back here and there. Good. 13 speed Road Ranger. Oh, right. I should do one for that. Yeah. Cash is King. The Tartar procedure to read the tire gauge. At least he checked. I guess you can kind of eyeball it because the thumper is not going to help you that much. They did that at a truck show where they let you thump a tire and then guess the air in it, and nobody could do it. It's not accurate in any way. I don't have anything to add. I just want to win the Blue Parrot. Daniel, yeah, thank you very much. That is adding something. Had to carry cash for the Pennsylvania toll. You used to have to carry hundreds of dollars with you and collect all your receipts. Remember, if you lose a receipt, they don't pay you. No pay. You had to actually remember your company's phone number. Well, that wasn't any problem because back then, everybody remembered everybody's number. Now, nobody knows any phone numbers because it's all just saved in your phone, including me. I agree. Oh, Dashcam Sammy, now scan your bills with your phone instead of the Trip Pack service. Exactly. Used to turn them in when you got back. Then they had this amazing Trip Pack. You could drop them off at the truck stops. Now you don't even have to leave your truck to scan them in. Freight shakers need all the help they can get. I'm amazed that he checked. At least he checked, right? You missed the most from the past is the Super 10. I wish I had a picture of that. That we all trying to bring that back. You give them lights and give them the lights. I don't do the lights that much. Super 10s are coming back. They may make a comeback. I never flash the brights to let another driver know. If the weather's bad, I'll turn your lights off and back on, but no brights. That's what I do. But I really only do that in bad weather. I just am not somebody that does the lights. You talking about arcades you added to Xbox and X1 to your truck? Now when I'm doing a restart, you get to play with your son. Man, you got a lot of stuff going on there. Does anybody do Star Trek Online on PC? Probably no one. Joel, hey, Mark, Smart Trucking had a call-in show last week and a portion of the YouTube was on roller wieners. No way. That's sweet. My name was brought up. Both houses were laughing about roller wieners. That's great. I got to go back and look at that video. So they did a live show with roller wieners. That is awesome. Oh, no way. I'm writing that down. So I get that's great. Look, that guy has been driving for years. And so he's eating a roller wiener too. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the thing is, did he get anything to drink with those roller wieners? You know, that's the thing. Now, hopefully he gets some Joe's roller wiener soda. And, you know, and it's a carbonated meat drink for every occasion. They will be doing a commercial soon here on the channel. So, you used to stop for vehicles. Now you won't stop. You don't have to anymore. And look, some people have been killed doing that. People have a phone. Well, look, if you want to help somebody, call the police and say there's a truck broke down here or something. Some people actually have been killed for that. Flash your brights and you flash the load light to say thanks. Yes. Rhino doesn't flash either. I'm just not a flasher of that. Did anyone already say single piece rims? Yeah, rims. That's one of the big things too. Thumbing the steers is illegal if caught. 18 picks in California instead of 4. Wow. I'm conflicted between bar none, Creed, and Hunt. Which would I recommend of those 3? Bar none. I use Transflow to scan my bills and send messages if your Qualcomm is bad. Exactly. How much more convenient is that? Running late, my Ram got a quick local load this morning. Oh, sweet. Ride quality in the modern trucks is a bit better. The Air Ride, right, as we talked about, is way better. Air Ride is way better than the old Spring Ride that used to sit on. Oh, my gosh. Air Ride, everything is so much better. Smart Trucking is having a live stream on Truck Stop Food. Yeah, I work at night, but I'll remember to check that out. That is really good. Smart Trucking is having a live stream. I think I have another truck. Oh, right. What about this truck? Remember these things plying the roads too? This is an 80s model also. This is a white GMC when the two companies came together. And look at the gigantic sleeper on this truck. This is a common truck not that long ago on the road. Okay, so look at how much trucks have gotten improved just in these few years. That was a very common sleeper. That's your road sleeper right there. This is a long distance over the road truck. That's where we used to be in driving not that long ago. I mastered a Mac 12 speed at a company for about 6 months. That's good. Well, once you get one of them, you can do all of them once you know the pattern. That's what I think. Air Ride rocks. Yeah, isn't it much better? With that headache rack? Yeah, that's a flatbedder right there. He's got the rack on it, which we didn't. Where I worked at a flatbed, they had them on the trailers. We didn't have to have one on the truck because all the trailers, but now it's literally a flatbed. There wasn't all this back then, right? Air Ride seats are better. Yeah, the seat, I mean, come on. What can be better than those seats? Have these power wipers done? Yeah, really the interstate system also. Because I remember on the maps, the line was a dotted line. And so because of that dotted line, I mean, what the heck? You're just looking at the interstate system and it says, future I-65 or future whatever. And that was not that long ago. Just that gets people way more miles with places you can get where you're going. Can you imagine taking US 30 all the way across the country? I've never done it. It must take forever to do it. The TPMS display to see if you have tires or have low air. Oh, you got a fancy truck, right? I don't have that yet in the truck, but that would be very helpful, right? I don't know why it's not in all trucks. It's in all the cars. I do miss the old restaurants, truck stop, cafes. Oh, right. There were tons more places to stop. Everywhere had a little place to pull off every exit with a few parking spots. Now it's all these mega truck stops, basically. I'm surprised they're not owned by some of these carriers. If a flatbed didn't have the rack, the truck was required to have it. Right, but we had them on all of our trailers, and so they didn't have to put them on the trucks. Now, mostly you see it on the trucks, so that you can overhang the trailer on the front and the back. You haven't eaten in a truck stop for years. You have your own food in the truck. Exactly. K. Wayne, Flash, you. Depends who it is. Bar none would be the best choice. That's what I think out of those choices anyway. Way back when, if you flashed your lights in a truck stop, every lot lizard would be at your door. Yeah, look, how about that? There's a button in the trucks now that there didn't used to be, apparently, where that makes the light stay on if you're parked, if you're backing in or anything. Apparently, it's impossible to turn them off. That's one of the downsides of current trucking. Trucks park, but their lights are unable to be turned off. They have to have their headlights on the whole night. I don't understand it. So I hope that they'll bring that button back in the trucks so that maybe if you're backing in, especially in the rain, you're parked or whatever, your headlights can actually be turned off. Do you stop for coffee at the truck stops? Oh, maybe he's like me, not a coffee drinker. It is Roller Wiener Monday. My dad calls empty flatbed skateboards. Yes, a lot of people do say skateboards for that. Well, Bill, you don't drink. Oh, look at that. So where did we go right here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Right, 1, 2, right there, 13, 11, 12, 13. Nomad Trucker. Right there is 13 on my screen. So there, I'm writing this down. Please put your zip code in the Nomad Trucker. That's where I wrote that down. So please put your zip code in the comments so that I can get your address from you. Oh, satellite radio. I should have said satellite radio too. I forgot about that. Right, satellite radio is another good one. The radios are way better than the AM single speaker in the dashboard radio. Holy mackerel. I love manual transmissions. I've driven both and still prefer manual. You're just a manual man. I found times when automatic did better. Look, I like the automatic, just easier. I guess I just wanted to have an easier day. Your stepfather had a Ford 9000 he bought from Frito-Lay. Oh my gosh, what a disaster that would be. How did that work? And remember, those Fords, 3 o'clock and all's well on those. Michael has a fridge freezer. They probably put it in there, right? Third passive lizard propositions is usually the best. Yeah, as the night gets later, the price should get cheaper. That's what I think. The lot lizards are cleaner now. They've cleaned up now. They can shower more often. I love it. Right. Till one tries to kill you and rob you. Hey, everybody takes you put your $5 down, you take your chances, right? A yard dog would bother you about turning your headlights off. On a Mac you drove, couldn't turn them off while you're driving. Right. These people apparently can't turn them off while they are parked, though. Lights are only on when key is an accessory. Well, people have the daytime running lights are on, an accessory and all that. I agree. There are people, as we know, parked at the truck stop that have their lights on. And there's no reason for that when you're parked. You don't have to have them on. All the lights that come on are parking lights. That's fine, right? I can see that, but I'd like to look stupid people and stretch your legs. Okay. That's true. Congratulations to Nomad right here. Voice of experience. Maybe, right. So once I get your zip code here, I think people should be ticketed for going lower than the speed limit in the middle lane. Yeah, people should move over if you can't go the speed limit. Oh, my gosh. Wild Bill says, what's a yard dog? Yeah, I think you'll want to Google that up. I should have a picture of one. Maybe I'll see if I can remember to get a picture of, maybe an older one. Right, that'd be great. One of the places I used to work at, Park Ridge Transport, it seems like, they had like an old pickup truck, a D600 pickup truck that they used as a yard dog, and this thing was super old. It had a 440 in it. It was gas-powered. Oh, my gosh. K. Wayne says, GP, I'm writing this down here, Nomad, so I get that on the thing. I do need the zip code for that, so Nomad Trucker. Plus, it illuminates the front end for someone's backing in. You should always park there with your parking lights on. I totally agree. It's much easier to back in next to you. But people park with their headlights on, and I don't think there's any reason for that. And I get that some people can't turn their lights off if they're backing in. If you can turn them off, please do. If not, all right, I see that. There's nothing you can do about it. But once you're parked, you can turn your lights off and sit only with your parking lights on. Otherwise, what will be the point? You can't just have your lights on all the time other than the truck is off. I mean, the parking lights also will be run by the APU. They'll charge your batteries up, so you don't have to worry overnight. That's the APU is another great thing about trucking. You don't have to worry overnight that your battery's down because you have to leave your lights on, or you can run a fan or whatever you want in there. Nomad Trucker, did you win? Yes. Could you please put your zip code in there so that I can match your zip code to the address you send me? Otherwise, I get 40 people saying, hey, I'm Nomad Trucker, I won. And so I can only send it to where you tell me to send it. So that's how we do it there, right? Wow, Bill, Spotter, you're not familiar with yard dog. Okay, yeah, some people may use a different wording for that, right? And that is how I've done it so far anyway, Nomad Trucker, and it's worked out so far. Let's see if I can get this up here, right here. The memories of the twin stick while I wait for that. Gracie can't even believe that there used to be 2 sticks in a truck. Remember that headset? Of course, I always put this out there. They don't pay me for this, just so people know. Mark, you're getting paid. They do not pay me for this. I don't even run ads on the live show or anything. Right? GP Transco offered this today. You saw that in there. And so we're giving away a headset that's a compliment to GP Transco. So that is pretty good of them to come in and do that. I didn't ask them to do it, and they don't pay me for that. So I do appreciate it. Any company's willing to come in here and answer questions, and they're the only one that's ever done it. So I really think that's something. The Ford did the job for him pulling his backhoe, and other equipment can't run it anymore in California. Oh, really? They regulated that out of there? I guess because of the age of it, right? It's not headlights and accessory lights. Some people have their headlights on, really. Remember when Alabama had kilometer markers? Yes, because of Jimmy Carter. Isn't that great? If they sleep, put some duct tape over their headlights and they cross. Yeah, I've thought about, we need to get that done off of there. You were at Parkridge Transport in Hodgkins. Yeah, years ago. I did work at Parkridge Transport. I worked nights there. I can't remember the guy's name that worked there. If you were there, this is like early 90s, like 90, 91. Super tall guy. He had a mullet because there was party in the front, or, business in the front, party in the back. I remember that guy. And we'd run containers around Chicago. Yeah, Parkridge Transport. Is that place still open? George Wilson, if you know anything about that place? There are a few states left with the signs. Yeah, Arizona has those signs, right, going down to the border. James Faust drove a triple for a while. I had a twin stick Mac for a little while. I never drove a triple. I can't imagine how complicated that would be to try to get that thing to go down the road, to have 3 sticks. This is good enough. 2 was enough, right? I mean, geez. Look, the engines. How about more power, right? 300, 250 horsepower years ago, 200 horsepower. Way more power now. You can get more done, put more miles on, and make more money, and they run a lot longer. Do what you got to do. Some of those idiots in the Volvos have their high beams on. I don't know why people in Volvos, and I agree with you, run their high beams all the time. What are we doing here? Why are people running Volvos with high beams? I totally agree with you. I think in UP, Michigan may have some. You forgot? Hey, Michael, semi-driver, what's going on? And no-name trucker. You're just a little late because we get the wrap up here soon. You haven't seen a Parkridge Transport truck in years, so I'm sure you did see them, though. And we ran old Macs then, where you the kick-out panel for your air conditioning by your left foot to blow the air inside of you. That thing, that's how that worked years ago. Why do I see a lot about historical US 66? People have a connection to the road that Chicago to California. So there's all these little weird motels and stuff along it. You should try to drive part of it sometime. I've always referred to yard spotters as yard jockeys. That's only when they're working at the Fruit of the Loom plant. Can I take an 8-cylinder Cat? I take an 8-cylinder Cat NA for power, yes, years ago. But many of us years ago had 200 horsepower. Or less. 300 horse Cummins was a big deal. I got into that. I'm like, wow, this thing really pulls. Now we have day cabs with 500 horsepower. So I wonder if the George Washington Bridge in New York was much of a pain to cross 20 years ago. Yeah, it was, but you could go either level. You could go up or down on it, top or bottom level. James Faust is taking off. You're going to haul grain? Good, but thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Cash is King, same difference. Right. I think it depends on where you're from. Yes. It's like vernacular for each part of the country, right? Roller wieners and stuff like that. It just depends where you come from, certainly. Not sure, but they had a big yacht down by the lake and their boat came before the trucks. Really? I never knew anything like the backstory of that place. There were only a couple of us there that ran Park Ridge Transport at night. We would run the containers from yard to yard. You take them to the UP and take them to a different rail yard. That's how that worked there. And you got paid on per container move basis. It wasn't bad. You're home every day. I lived in Hammond at the time, so if you know where Hodgkins is, I would have to commute into Hammond every day. Fruit of the Loop, yeah, that's where the yard jockeys work. You prefer common rail diesels? I bet people run older model Volvos on high beam because the regular lights have horrible brightness. But these are the newer Volvos that they're doing this. MS Carrier trailers used to be everywhere. I saw one the other day. I'm looking at it, I go, that is an MS Carrier's trailer. They closed like 20 years ago. There's a Route 666. That's correct. Was it changed because locals got frightened? They kept stealing the signs. That's in Nevada, right? Isn't that the Alien Highway or whatever? If you buy better bulbs, you can't be sure when you put the bulbs in because of the reflectors. You can't necessarily do that. I think Creek Carrier says the recruiters watch your show, but they're shy and never comment. Look, they should get on. They shouldn't be shy. If they want to come in and answer legit questions from drivers, I don't know why they wouldn't want to do that. Is the turning radius better on today's trucks? No. These cab overs, like this, this kind of thing here, you can't beat the turning radius on a 150-inch wheelbase cab over. You just can't beat that on today's trucks. So that's not going to happen. Cash is king, they do, but they scared that Pennywise is going to get them. Nice. I was going to try a Silver Star Ultra Style. Swift got many of their trailers when they bought them, but they sold a lot of them. And you see owner-operators pulling them. I'm going to say Nomad Truck. I'm going to give you another minute to put your zip code up here. I'm going to have to give this to somebody else as per the thing in the comments there. So in the description, I need your zip code here in the description. If I missed it, please post it up here again. So is that why BJ had to be there to help change gears in trucks with 3 shifters? Maybe. Where's Greg Evigan to answer that question? I never had a triple stick. I've heard of them. And we'll see from James Faust here maybe next week's how easy it was to drive that. Or if anybody has driven the triple sticker. I replace stock bulbs with the Silver Star bulbs as fine as they're not LED. You can't change the LED from the halogens because the reflector needs to change because the way the pattern of the light is. Like my truck, the new Cascadies have LEDs in them, but they're made for it with the reflector, and so you wouldn't be able to change back. Mine have not gone out yet, so they'll be expensive to replace. Tell the drivers from Chicago with their Volvos it's illegal to drive with fog lights on in Florida. Really? I thought 4 white lights facing forward. Like on the car, I always have them on in the wife's car. They come on automatically with the headlights. Nomad, give it to somebody else. All right, I'm going to set this here because I got to set the timer here quickly so I don't know when it's going to go off. Okay, and we set the timer. We'll do 13 again. Got it. It's not foggy. Turn your phone lights out. Well, look, all the lights in the truck. I always turn the... Thank you very much for that, Nomad, by the way. I always turn the lights down in the dashboard. I don't like these bright lights. No name will take it. You only have 2 ears and have 0. That's awesome. All this stuff combined makes trucking better now than it ever used to be. The only thing, and I agree with what you said, the only thing that people said that people liked better back then, the logs. And it was easier to back a cab over in. It was. Although there wasn't as much room in the truck. You were way easier backing in the ride now. The comfort, the convenience of it, the entertainment value in the trucks, that you can put all your stuff back there, a fridge, TV. Some people have like a little stove back there and stuff. No way. The downfall of technology and cell phones. Yeah. So look, I think cell phones contribute to making it better. You don't have to stand at the Flying J and wait for one of those little boosts to open up or whatever. What if it goes after the show is over? The show will remain alive until it goes off. So that's how I would do that. Don't be a Vincent Van Gogh. I love it. Like this truck here, you can't back this thing in just anywhere. You know, it's like a current truck. And that sleeper back then, that was a huge deal. That you could stand up in your sleeper was a big deal. Now it's like, I get letters a lot. People say, well, Mark, I'm considering prime, but to get 5 cents, I have to take this half sleeper, which is a 55-inch sleeper. You know, is that okay? Is that going to be enough room? I'm like, heck yeah, man. I mean, holy mackerel. That's still a great size to be on the road. So just that sleeper is not the thing, certainly. Scam calls are no good, as you have to answer just in case it's another driver. I don't answer any call where I don't have the phone number in my phone. I don't care who it is. Oh, what do you know? That didn't take long at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12. Kenneth P. Kenneth P. on my screen. Please put in your zip code. And that will again be compliments of GP Transco, who is giving the headset away, and they do not pay me for that. So I like to put that out there. People, I get those letters, Mark, they're paying you all this money. They are not paying me anything. So, great show. I took the job at 70 cents split, 6,000 miles a week. Nice. That's really nice. All trips to our RDC, we get paid for sitting. That's great. I think that's really good money. Saw a cab over with a super sleeper. Can't imagine jacking that up. That's the thing, too. Some people extend them, and then you got to, that was the other problem with the cab over. But you don't realize, to get into the engine, they have to jack the cab up, literally. So all your junk in the sleeper falls in the windshield, gets packed with all your stuff. So I think that's a great deal, G Friday. I drove trucks that had no passenger seat. It had been removed while built. I did that. Regal Transport, which was flatbed over the road, they had no passenger seat, and they told us they took the seats out because you're not allowed to take passengers. So you don't need a seat. And actually that gave you a little more room to store stuff. And I would put the tarps over there to melt in the wintertime so that they would unfreeze a little bit so I could tarp with them. So, yeah, I actually kind of liked it. You have a microwave more useful than a television? I'm propping them up for the giveaway, right? Like the IRS or SSI scam calls. If you don't answer the phone, you don't get these scam calls. 48038. Oh, you're in Indiana. Nice. Or around here somewhere. That's good. Now, send me your address, and I'll get it to GP Transco so that we can get that out to you. And I appreciate you being here for that. And so as it is time, I am going to head out, and I want to thank GP Transco for that, for giving that away. And don't forget, if that's a blue parrot, if you wear it, make it a parrot. We're going to say that again here. Go check out Jay, of course. Check out Jay at 8 p.m. tomorrow Central Time live. He's live right here on YouTube. Gracie can't believe that the show is over, but unfortunately it is over. Bridget also is looking sadly as the show ends. I'm a member of OIDA, and I think everybody should be a member of OIDA. Joe will soon be out with his new soda. He's going to have carbonated meat drinks for every occasion. Don't forget about that. And I think the cheese RW soda, I think that's going to be the best. And Boost, of course, that's going to be, you need that long night. You got a long night coming up, but you need to stay awake, and you're kind of hungry, and you're kind of thirsty. Boost might be for you. Yes, it might be. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And let me go over to this here. Okay, Michael Muller, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Luke, 1234. Michael, semi-driver, thank you for being here. Wild Bill, of course, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. G Friday, thanks for coming in. And Nomad Trucker is here today. I appreciate everybody coming in. Look, I really do appreciate everybody coming in. I don't just say that. It is amazing to me that anybody shows up here at all for this, and I do personally really appreciate it. So No Name Trucker, thank you for being here. K Wayne is here. Or am I going back here? Oh, Cassius King Trucking, living the Pete lifestyle. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Dash Cam Sam was here, and I have to go make my company some money. George Wilson, thanks for coming in. James Faust hauling that grain, which I'm super happy about. Ruben, thanks for being here, and I'm going to head out and to get my company some money. So thank you, everybody, and we will be back next week with more Trucking Answers.